Hi, Elle. I just received your gift in the mail today. Thank you so much for the beautiful diary. The leather cover is stunning. I finally understand why you stopped me from buying a boring notebook at the store the last time I saw you.
Hi, Uncle Adam. Happy birthday. I'm glad you liked my present. I just wanted to make sure you get a special one. Because I know how important it is for you to keep a diary. And now the diary will remind you of me every day.
I sure will. Any gift from you is special, but this one was also very thoughtful of you. Thank you so much. You are the closest thing I have to a daughter. You will always be special to me, Elle.
Thanks, Uncle. You're special to me, too. You're like a father to me. Aside from my other dad.
That's very sweet of you, honey. But don't say that in front of your dad. You did before and he became really jealous.
I know. That was pretty funny.
For you, maybe. Anyway, how are you these days? I heard from your dad that you moved in with your in-laws. How's that going for you?
I did, a couple months ago. Only temporary, though.
I see. What made you make that move? Isn't it hard to have to take care of your in-laws? Or are they so nice that you don't mind spending time with them?
Well, not really. I thought they were really nice at first. But once we decided to move in with them, things kind of changed. Oh, but, please don't tell any of this to my dad. I don't want him to think I have bad things to say about my in-laws.
I know, honey. I won't spill a word to your dad. I understand relationships with in-laws can be very sensitive, but you shouldn't let them treat you badly.
Yes, I agree.
Are they bothering you in any way? Your mother-in-law isn't bullying you or anything, is she?
Well, not particularly. I think she just loves her son too much, you know? Like, she thinks I took him from her or something. So she'll say things to me that are unpleasant, I guess. Or she would forget to prepare my meal at the dinner table. Just small things like that.
Elle, that's not a small thing. She's toxic. She can't treat you like that. What does Wayne do when she does such things to you? He shouldn't be letting his mother treat you badly.
Oh, Wayne is great. He defends me always. So don't worry about that part. And I think it's just her personality. She's just a jealous person. I try not to worry about it too much.
If I were you, I'd move out of that house in a heartbeat. You shouldn't be anywhere near toxic people. It's a waste of breath.
Wayne thinks it was a bad move for us too. But we only moved in because Wayne's relocation got extended. We found out he wasn't going anywhere after we told our landlord we were moving out of our previous apartment. And then his parents found out our situation and asked us to move in with them until Wayne got his relocation.
It all happened at what seems to be imperfect timing, huh?
Exactly.
Still, you should have seen a red flag.
I know. She begged Wayne, telling him how much it would mean for her to be living together, even if it was temporary. Then she really missed him since we lived a bit far from them. That's why we ended up saying yes. Besides, we were expecting Wayne to get his official notice to relocate in a month or so. Anyway, we hope to move out soon. We pay them rent every month, which is fine. But it's too silly for us to keep paying them when we don't even feel that comfortable around them, you know? We would rather spend money on a comfortable home for ourselves. But she doesn't know that we're planning to leave.
I think you and Wayne would be much better off if you move out. Life is too short to waste any time on bullies.
I couldn't agree more, Uncle. I will try to distance myself from them. I'm sure it won't go on forever, though. She was never mean to me before. I think she just gets jealous when we're together in front of her. She should get herself back again once we're out of the house, because then she won't have to witness her son spending time with his wife every day. Okay, enough complaining for now. Anyway, I'm doing alright, so please don't worry. Sorry if my update has annoyed you. But I feel much better now that I've told you. Thanks for listening.
Anytime, Mel, anytime. I'm the one who asked you how you were doing anyway. I hope your situation gets better as soon as possible, but like I said, you really shouldn't be wasting any time on bullies. Try to get out of there as soon as possible. Make sure Wayne understands your situation too, and if anything happens, you can tell me anytime.
Hello? Elle? Where the hell are you? Why haven't you come back from grocery shopping already? You better not be procrastinating out there. Hi, Deanne. I'm sorry. I just finished shopping. I will stop by the dry cleaner next and be on my way back. You are so slow. If I were you, I'd be back in an hour. Get moving. You have other chores to take care of. God, why can't you do anything right? You don't know how to shop, clean, or cook, or anything. By the way, you should get your tasting checked out. The food you prepared last night was so thick in flavor. I will not tolerate bad cooking on my table again. Oh, sorry. I will go light on the sauce tonight. Duh, you better. Or else you're going to get everyone sick. Wait a second. Did you do it on purpose? Because Wayne is gone and on his business trip? You're doing it to bully me while he's out of town, aren't you? Of course not, Deanne. I bet you are. I never feel any kindness from you. My husband agrees with me, you know. You think less of us because we're your in-laws. What? I never thought about that. I care about you as much as I care for my own parents. Please don't say such things. Well, if you mean what you say, you should be showering us with treats. Perhaps take us somewhere nice and show us that you care. Where do you want to go? Somewhere quiet and relaxing. With lots of nature, like the woods or by the lake. I've been wanting to go on vacation with Wayne for a while. It would be a terrific treat for me. That sounds nice. You know how your mother posts pictures on the SNS? Yes, she started recently. Looks like she's having a good time. What about it, though? Well, her post showed up when I was on my smartphone the other day. And I saw her picture from when she visited your family's cottage. I see. I've always wanted to stay at a gorgeous cottage with my family. Why didn't you ever tell me about this place? I never knew you had people in your family who can own such beautiful property like that. Oh, well, I guess I do. You should ask them if we can stay at the cottage. I don't know, Deanne. The cottage is really far from here. It will be such a long drive, like 5 or 6 hours.
Well, I'm sure my husband won't mind driving. The men can take turns. If that's not enough, all of us will take turns. It's not a big problem. You will ask them, won't you?
I guess. Why not? Don't get your hopes up too much, though.
What? Why? Are we not good enough for your family? Your mother can stay there, but we can't?
No, that's not what I mean. The owners usually rent the cottage out to visitors. It's their business, so it's not like we can't go anytime we want to.
I'm sure they can squeeze us in somewhere. But if you tell me they won't, I will assume you don't want us to stay at your family's cottage. That we are not worth your effort to ask them. So consider this a test to prove just how much you care for us.
Deanne, I don't own the cottage. I will try, but I can't promise anything.
Don't give me any excuses. You will get them to say yes, no matter what. Oh, and I almost forgot. You need to pick up some dog food for Bingo. It will run out after his dinner tonight. He needs the organic one sold at the vet's.
The vet? That's on the other side of town, right?
Yes, so? Do you have a problem with that?
No, of course not. I will go get some right away.
Good. But be quick, you are already late.
Deanne, do you know when you'll be back home? It's been a while since you left to go get your car washed. Is there a line at the car wash? And Bingo's sitter hasn't arrived yet. Can you give me their number? I bet they're lost, so I'll call them.
No one is coming to get Bingo, honey.
Huh?
Elle, you are so oblivious.
What? What are you talking about?
It's been over an hour since we've been to get our car washed.
Yes, that's why I'm checking in with you.
We're not coming home to pick you up. We have left for the cottage without you. You will stay behind with the dog.
Huh? But I have the keys.
No, you don't. I took them from your bag before I left. Now I have the keys and know the address to the cottage. We are good to go. Your services are no longer needed. I can't wait to see Wayne there. The three of us will enjoy our quality family time at the cottage. I am so excited to be able to vacation with my son, but without any nuisance.
You've planned this all along, haven't you? I was never included in this trip.
Of course you weren't. Remember, I said family vacation.
So I'm not family to you?
No. You have your own job as Bingo's sitter. You need to take good care of him.
Fine, so be it then.
Don't even think about telling Wayne, or else you will never be included in this family. Do I make myself clear? I will tell him you couldn't make it because you are sick. Surely you understand. We just want to have a good time with our son. Right, honey? If you truly care, and if you really want to be a part of this family, you will obey.
I get it. I won't tell Wayne.
Oh, good, you understand. I'm so glad you get it for once. You will stay home and take care of the dog. Make sure he doesn't ruin the house while we're gone. Perhaps you can use this opportunity to clean the house too. If you can do those two things right, then maybe I will consider accepting you into our family. So remember what I said and get cracking.
Elle, have you arrived at the cottage?
I think so.
What do you mean you think so? How is it? You haven't been there for a while now, have you? Are your in-laws liking it too?
Well, I don't really know because I was kind of left behind. Because I apparently have a job to do, which is to take care of the dog. He's keeping me good company, though.
Huh? What the hell? They made you stay to take care of the dog? You invited them to the cottage, though, not the other way around.
They were never going to take me. It was all planned. They told me they were getting the car washed before heading to the cottage. They said they'd be back to pick me up, but they never did. It was a lie, and I didn't know.
Jesus, Elle, how could they do that to you? I only agreed to let your family use the cottage because you asked. And now they have left you?
I am so sorry, Uncle Adam. I was very stupid not to realize in the first place.
Don't apologize, it's not your fault. I have gone too far to use you like this. What the hell is Wayne doing? Where is... Don't mind me, though. You go on and tell him that you won't take any more crap.
Oh my god, Elle. Your uncle is the CEO of one of the most famous firms in this state? His firm is my husband's biggest client.
Yes, he is. He's a very powerful man.
Why didn't we know about this? Why didn't you tell us? If we've known that you were his niece, we never would have left you behind.
My uncle may be a CEO, but I'm just an ordinary housewife. Please don't mind me.
How can we not? This is unbelievable. He is threatening to cut his deal with my husband's company. Do you know how hard he worked to close the deal with your uncle's firm? My husband's reputation is ruined. Or worse, he could lose his job.
Oh, is that so?
Wayne just arrived and told us what's going on. Your uncle is enraged about how we left you behind to use his cottage.
I guess my uncle couldn't control his temper after all.
This is not funny, it is very serious. Listen, Elle. I am sorry for how we treated you since you've moved in with us. I apologize deeply. So can you please ask your uncle not to terminate business with my husband's company?
You want me to ask?
Who else can talk to him?
Well, Diane, I have put a lot of effort into trying to build a good relationship with you. But I've learned in the past several months that no matter what I do, nothing will ever satisfy you. Nothing I do will ever be enough. You simply dislike me.
What? No, that is not true. I have liked you always.
Well, from my perspective, there was not a single moment that I felt you liked me. Wayne agrees too. But it got worse every time he tried to talk to you about your attitude towards me. You would become furious and bully me even more. There is not one episode of you being kind to me, ever, since we began living together. I really wanted to be your friend, Diane. I really did. But too bad. It was all meaningless.
It's not meaningless. We are good friends. In fact, I have always been very impressed by you. You always get everything done perfectly, and you are never fazed. Even when I was tough on you, you have always been respectful.
Oh, wow. Well, I think you're lying to me again. But sure, I am glad if I at least have been useful for you. So what, though?
We will be better friends from now on. Right now, your father-in-law is very upset. And you know, he never actually did anything to you.
No, he didn't. Because he does whatever you say. But I think ignoring what is going on is as bad as bullying. He always knew you were bullying me, but he didn't stop you or help me. To me, that means you two were in it together.
That usually calm, quiet man is about to burst with anger. He told me it's my fault if he ever loses his career.
You brought the situation upon yourselves.
I admit we have been very cold to you. We would like to formally apologize for our actions. We will never do anything to hurt you again. So please, Elle, give us a chance. What can we do for you to forgive us?
Well, let me see. For starters, perhaps you can mow the grass around the cottage before you leave. And clean all the windows.
You want me to clean the cottage? I thought this cottage gets regular housekeeping services.
You're staying there for free. I'm sure you're grateful enough to help keep the cottage nice.
Okay, fine, sure. I will do it. I mean, I will love to do it. You will forgive us once we're done with those two tasks?
Hell no. I have much more conditions for you. You will take on half of the housework until we move out. I will not let you treat me like a slave anymore. And once we move out of your house, we are never living under the same roof ever again. You will also not be permitted inside our new home.
What? I'm not invited to your house? How will I see my son then?
If you want to see Wayne, you will have to ask him to come to you. If you can, that is.
He is ready to disown us right now. He will never come to see us. If I'm not allowed to visit your house, I will never see my own son. You have to help me see him.
Well, why is he ready to disown you, Diane? Because you've mistreated me, correct? So why are you asking me, of all people, to help you see him? It doesn't make any sense.
But, you know what? You are right about everything. I will accept everything you say. I will obey you from now on. So please, tell your uncle that everything has been solved. Tell him you have forgiven us and that we are friends now.
Okay, I'll think about it.
Think about it? You're not going to forgive us? Will you not talk to your uncle? Please.
I will consider forgiving you. But don't get your hopes up too much.
Come on, Elle. Please don't be so stubborn. I know you care about us. We are your family, aren't we?
Huh. Don't make me laugh, Diane. You're the one who said I'm not your family. Don't you remember? You just said it yesterday when you left me with your poor dog.
I'm sorry. I really am deeply sorry. What I said to you was wrong. I take it back. I was just jealous, you see. Wayne cares about you so much. I was feeling hurt because it felt like he was always on your side and never mine. It was stupid of me to be jealous of you. But I never really meant that you're not family.
It felt like a lot more than jealousy. It felt like hatred to me. And you sounded pretty clear about how you felt about me.
Elle, I am so sorry. We are old. If my husband loses his career, we won't survive. I know you are too nice to let us die on the streets. Please, you have to help us. I am begging you.
What happens to you guys after this depends on your actions. I will not have any empathy because no matter what you say, I don't consider you as my family. So you better get cracking and do as I say. If you don't, well, then I guess I'll have to assume I'm not worth your effort. So consider this a test to prove how much you care for me. My in-laws obeyed and made sure the cottage was fully maintained before they came back home. After returning, Diane was so scared to take me off that she became cautious not to do anything wrong around me. It was particularly funny in the kitchen because every time I was in there cooking, she would slowly come up to me and offer to take over everything that I was doing. I had barely touched anything in the kitchen during my last few weeks in their house. Wayne's father, paranoid that he would lose his job, became suddenly nice to me too. The way they changed their attitude was rather entertaining. Overall, they both kept their distance from me as much as possible and handled their own chores, which was a huge relief for me. It stayed that way until Wayne and I left the house shortly after. Thankfully, we were able to find a lovely home away from them. When they left behind to use my uncle's cottage, I initially thought I would be satisfied enough if I just told them they were mistreating me and that I would no longer take it. But now that I think about it, my uncle was probably right. Not around, I'm able to enjoy my life again. I never had time for myself when I lived with the in-laws, because I was required to do all the housework. I tried to answer their demands in hope of being accepted into the family, but I now realize that I shouldn't have wasted my time for bullies. I began to work from home again, which has helped me gain confidence and feel more secure. By the way, Uncle Adam is an intelligent, moral businessman who understands his boundaries. He never would have used his power to get my father-in-law fired. Uncle Adam only told Wayne to tell his father that he knows about the deal between their company. They just let their imagination run wild after that. I'm assuming they panicked because deep down they knew they were mistreating me and assumed that my uncle could use it against them. Understanding how bullies react, my uncle assumed their guilty conscience would quickly take over and switch to self-protection mode, leading them to frantically apologize to me. And boy, did he ever guess right. Wayne says his parents don't need to know the truth, so I am sure they will continue to be afraid of me and my uncle until retirement. Wayne should be getting his official notice for an overseas assignment soon. When he does, I will go with him, and we will be even farther from them than we are now. I am glad we'll be out of their reach, so that I don't have to worry about them showing up on my front door. My experience with Wayne's parents really taught me to use time on people that truly matter. No matter where I am in the future, I am sure this life lesson will follow. And I know I will be living a happy life with only the people I care about.
Brooke, it's been too long. I'd love to catch up for a little bit, but first, would like to let you know that I have something that I wanted to send you in the mail, and it has to say refrigerated. Is there a day in which I can have it delivered to you? Hey, Allie, what do you plan on sending me that has to stay cool the whole time? If it's something that could spoil or any other kind of food type, we don't need it here. No, it's something else actually. Look, this year you guys won't be coming to our house for Labor Day, right? So I was thinking, since it'll be the last bit of summer, I'd send some of Ben's favorite ice cream. The last time he stayed over here, he went to an ice cream shop just around the corner from us and absolutely loved their ice cream. Ah, that stuff that was pretty expensive, right? I remember he even got himself a pint of it to take home so that he could eat more of it later. That's right. So I was thinking of sending an ice cream cake to you guys from that store. So can you tell me a day that would work best for you to have it delivered on? Alright, then have that ice cream cake here on this Saturday for us. Anytime after lunchtime will do. Will do. I'll put it in for this Saturday anytime after 12 o'clock. Alright, thank you. Make sure that you eat a lot of it as well, okay, Brooke? My son has had to be at work a lot recently, so it's left to you having to deal with Ben and the chores all on your own, right? And just like this time, he's had times in the past where he's been away for work for long periods of time, right? Thank you so much for being there for my boy. No, that's quite alright actually. I married him knowing that he'd be working out of town a lot, and so I don't need to be thanked for marrying him. Ben hasn't been lonely because of it? He's already in 3rd grade now, and he understands that his dad has to be at work a lot and doesn't mind either. He knows that his dad is doing it for the purpose of supporting him and I. My, so he's finally growing up that fast, is he? And if he continues down this path of picking up on things quickly, he'll be a real relief for both me and my husband. And as for my husband, it's nice that he's making a lot of money with his work. His work even rarely has to go through any layoffs, so it's a real blessing that he's made a career within that company. Well, that sounds about right. He works for the government, so he doesn't have to be worried about anything like that. But just thinking of Ben, he's still in elementary school, so he has a lot of time to change from the way he is now into someone else entirely. Now that I think about him, what is he up to right now? If you can make it work, I'd love to call him for a bit to talk to him since it's been so long. Do you think the two of you can call on another day? Right now he's with one of his friends at the library working on some reading practice so that he doesn't fall behind over the summer. Oh, how amazing of him to do that. When my son was in elementary school, he never cared that much about studying or anything to do within his school. Ben is really shaping up to become as great as you are, Brooke. Well, I've always told him that he can't go out and play until he spends some time making himself into a better boy. Even though you say that to him, I know a lot of kids that never listen to their mothers and actually do that. Ben really is a perfect little boy. Well, then I guess I can wait for another day to hear his voice over the phone. Alright, I'll make sure he talks to you soon. Please, and thank you. Now, good luck with Ben, okay? It's still been pretty hot out for August, so make sure that you take care of yourself and don't overheat. Brooke, I just received that letter in the mail that Ben wrote for me. He even made a cute little picture for me, and it's warmed my heart up so much. Can you tell Ben thank you for me the next time you see him? Huh? You got a letter in the mail? Yeah, something that looks almost like a postcard came in the mail from him. Does this mean that you never knew he sent something like that to me? Yeah, I don't know a single thing about that. He didn't say anything rude to you in that letter, did he? There was not a single thing in there that came off as rude to me. Just things about how the ice cream cake was delicious and that he's been going to the library a lot to keep up on reading. He also wrote that he wants to come see me and his grandpa really soon. Is that so? Well, if there was nothing off about that letter, then that's a relief for me. But it's just amazing. I never expected that a kid his age would already know how to write and send me a letter. It's been a whole year now since we met, so this has really made me so happy. I'll let Ben know that for you, okay? I wonder where that boy learned to even send mail in the first place. Right now, most kids are all focused on using smartphones and things like that, right? You have a point there. I didn't teach him anything about that either. He probably ended up learning about it at school from one of his teachers. Haha, maybe he was asking one of them how to do so they had no choice but to show him. He's at the age now where if he sees someone else doing it, he'll want to try it out for himself. Allie? I know that I'm only just bringing this up now, but I think that you're being a little excessive with how often you contact me. Perhaps I told you about this once before, actually. I'm sorry, Brooke. Since then, I hadn't heard anything else from you, and after getting the letter in the mail from Ben, I wanted to let you know how happy I am. I know that you're not trying to be rude or anything by talking to us this much, but it's becoming a bit of a problem. It hasn't even been a whole week since the last time you texted, so you need to do something about that. And as for you sending us things in the mail, I'd rather that you don't do that anymore. I'm sorry for thinking about you all so much, but I really don't mind sending you guys gifts in the mail. And that's what I thought you'd say, but don't expect anything back from me. I'm the kind of person that means what I say. So what I'm asking is that from now on, you stop checking up on me all the time and sending all these messages and gifts. I understand that my husband is busy with work and all, but talking to me this much is driving me up the wall. Soon my husband will be back from his trip, so you can start talking with us then, so that I don't have to always be the one seeing your texts. Alright, Brooke. I'm really sorry for all of that. I totally understand how you feel about it all now. Well, if you do understand, that's great. I have a lot on my plate here, so there's no time for me to talk with you. I'm sorry, but I don't have the patience to just sit around and talk to you every day. And as for Ben, I'm the one that's raising him, so you don't have to worry about how he's doing while he's with me. Before you start to think that you can see him all the time because you're his grandma, think about how he's my son and he needs to be around me more than you. Now, I have to get going. Brooke, I have something to talk to you about. I'm asking you to please pick up your phone right now. What is it that you want with me now? Allie, calling me at 11 p.m. is very inappropriate, and I'm not going to forgive you this time if it's not for something important. I already told you before to stop talking to me all the time, so what do you want? Well, I'd like to know why at this moment, with what's going, you're trying to relax and get some sleep. Tell me right now, where are you? Why would I be anywhere else beside my house? Calling me this late at night, what the hell do you want from me? My son is trying to sleep right now as well, so stop with all this crap. If he is to wake up because of you causing me to move around, what kind of problems do you think that'll create for me? That's very strange, Brooke. You say your son is there sleeping, but he's over at my house with me. My son is? What the heck are you talking about? Ben came over to my house. I have no idea what you mean by that. Do you know how far of a trip it is over to you guys from ours? That's not the kind of distance that some little kid like him could walk. Even an adult would have a hard time walking that far at this time of the night. I'm being serious about Ben being here with me right now. He seems to have taken the bus to get over here. The bus? That kid has never been on a bus before, so how did he take all that by himself? Ah, I think I get it now. You're at that age now where you're starting to become a little senile. Don't worry about it though, Allie, because Ben is back here with me. I'll make sure to let my husband know that his mom is starting to show signs, okay? Brooke, are you really telling me that you're not aware that Ben is not in your house right now? Could this mean that not even you are in your own house right now? Maybe you're lying to me about you having been sleeping. A senile hack like you needs to learn when to shut up. Excuse me? Do you know how hard I've worked to take care of that kid? I'm sorry that you couldn't be around your grandkid more, but we are very busy here at all times. I think you're standing to go off to deep end because of that though. You need to go to the hospital, Allie. I can tell just by the way you're acting that your brain is on a downhill slope now and needs to be looked after. Brooke, I want you to remember everything you just told me there, okay? You're going to regret every single second of it now. I have no reason to regret telling you the truth. Now don't you dare try talking to me again until my husband gets home. I think I'm on the verge of cutting ties with you now, Allie. And make sure to not even talk to my son or my husband about this anymore. Understood. If that's what you want from me, then I'm more than glad to oblige. But if you come to me after this wanting my help, I won't give a crap. I want you to take full responsibility for all you've done now, okay? Allie, I have something to ask about Ben. Wait, didn't you just tell me last night that we wouldn't talk to one another anymore for the time being? I'm sorry about that. I have something that I'd like to check out with you about. Something you'd like to check with me about? Did Ben really go over to your house? He did. It's about time you finally realized that Ben wasn't at your house at all. But that kid shouldn't have any kind of money on him, right? Yet how was he able to get on that bus last night? When you really think about it, that distance he covered was far too long for a third grader to cover. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yes. Well, the way he got on that bus and came over here was by using the money I gave him for his birthday. Huh? You gave him money for his birthday? When did you send that to him? Recently, I had sent over that ice cream cake, right? Well, I happened to send the money with that as sort of a late birthday gift to him. I wasn't able to come see him after his birthday after all. I suppose you would have done that, huh? Ben has told me you never came home yesterday. He told me everything about what's happened between you and him while he was there. Allie, you have it all wrong. My mom ended up being really sick and needed help to be with her, and so I had to hurry up and head back to her house without a lot of time to spare. Then why didn't you just at least take Ben with you if it was back at your family's house? I had planned on being back to my house right away. But even still, that's pretty irresponsible of you to do that with him, right? Especially when you were out of the house for almost 2 whole weeks. Ah, right. You did end up coming home every now and then, though. But you only came home to change into new clothes, and that was all, right? Is Ben really telling you all these lies? So that's the way you're going to try and change the story for us? I have been doing all I can do to make sure that I'm always there for Ben. I'm sure he's just making me seem like a bad parent because I scolded him a little while back, but I only did that because he wasn't behaving himself. Brooke, let me tell you what condition Ben was in when he came over to our house last night. It didn't even seem that he'd seen a bath for at least a month. He told me he hadn't changed out of his clothes for almost a week and a half. There's no way he looked like that last night. After how badly he looked coming to our house with whatever strength he had left in him, I'm not going to be swayed by your pathetic excuses. He had no idea how to take the bus and had to talk with complete strangers about how to ride one. And the only reason he was able to find this house was after he took the address off the box of the ice cream cake that I'd sent a while back. He came here and told me to help him the moment I opened the door. And right after that, he passed out onto the floor. Ben passed out? What have you done to him? Don't start acting like you care. I've done nothing wrong here. You already know that this is due to him not having eaten in weeks. I had to take him right to the emergency room last night and the doctor had to run all kinds of tests on him. I had been trying so hard to be a good mother. I'm so sorry. I'll even try harder to keep an eye on him. I'm coming to see him right now. No, you're not. I don't want a beast like you raising Ben any longer. You can even feed your own child, let alone be there to make sure that he was okay. There is no point in you being a mother to him anymore, right? I happen to have a neurotic disorder. So now you're going to blame this on your illness of yours? Every single time you're going to make up an excuse to try to avoid having to be responsible for what you've done. I'm being serious about this though. My husband has been gone for so long now and I have to take care of everything in the house. And having a son that's still in elementary school is the hardest thing to handle on my own. But the last few times I've spoken to you, you made it seem all as though you were all right there. I was just doing that to avoid you. I don't think so, Brooke. For the time being, no matter what kind of excuses you may have, I'm not handling Ben back to you. I'll call the police on you. You don't have the rights to that kid. They'll come and arrest you for kidnapping him from me. If you want to call the police, go ahead and try it. Because you'll come to find that calling them will only make your situation a whole lot worse than it already is. Allie, please just give him back to me. I want my kid back right now. No matter how many times you try asking, it's not going back to you. I promise that from now on I'll put more effort into raising him while I'm alone here. Please just let me see that kid. You're being a pain in my butt. Then at the very least, don't tell my husband about this. You can keep Ben there with you for the time being, but don't tell my husband anything. I'll let you hold on to him until my husband is back in town. Brooke, you still don't understand the circumstances you've made for yourself yet? I'm not holding on to Ben because I want to keep him as my own. I'm protecting him because he came here asking for his grandmas to save him. Allie, I'll apologize for everything that's happened these past few weeks. This isn't a situation where you can apologize to me for it anymore. I had all sorts of stress build up due to having to raise that kid though. Your husband has worked the same sort of job my husband is working right now. You should be able to sympathize with the kind of feelings I'm having right now. I don't know the feeling of being home alone and having to raise a child by myself. I know very well the stress that comes with having to raise a child and all of that. But I never been in the position where I chose to ignore my child because I'd gotten tired of them. Also, I'm already telling my son about this. Huh? But he should be somewhere where he cannot receive any calls or texts, right? Yesterday he was in an area where he could receive calls for a bit, and that's when I spoke to him. Maybe it was God's doing, but the timing of it was all perfect. Perhaps he was doing it to save Ben after all the hardships he'd been through with you. Did my husband say anything about this? I don't have to tell you what your husband said. You already know how he's reacted to this. My son has been the kind of father where he's not working or doing chores. He's out playing with Ben. I know that he's had to leave you at home a lot for his job, but he always feels sorry for doing that to you guys. Yet now he's at the point where he will no longer be able to trust someone like you with his family anymore. Allie, help me, please. I don't want him to divorce me. You left your own dang son and caused him to end up malnourished? You know that there's nobody going to help you out of this now? I'm so sorry though. I really didn't mean to screw up this badly. I will never do something like this again. From now on, I'll make sure that Ben is the number one person I think about. Ugh, that should have been the way things always were between you and your son. Please, Allie, I'll do anything to make this all up to you. I'll even let you see Ben whenever you want. And I'll never ask to talk back to you ever again. So please just forgive me for this and let's move on. You stop all that crying right now. This is not about me forgiving you or not now. Every time you opened your mouth, a lie came out. And anytime it wasn't a lie, it was some crappy excuse. I'm not going to continue discussing all of this with someone that can't learn from their mistakes. I am learning though. How else was I supposed to go about all of this before without anyone's help? And now you want me just to accept what's happening here? I've been a housewife all my life and now I'm being threatened with a divorce? My gosh, even now all you're thinking about is yourself? You haven't even expressed any worry about the condition Ben is in this whole time. So you're never going to see this boy again. It's too difficult for me to even understand why such a sweet boy had to go through something as terrible and heart-wrenching as this. How about before we continue anything, you go to the doctor and get yourself checked out? Tell them that you have troubles caring for kids and only ever think about is yourself. I'm sure they might be able to get you the help you need and get down to the bottom of that neurosis you have. From there, Ben's father came all the way back from his work and divorced Brooke on the spot. And with no issues at all, the judge made sure that full custody of Ben went to his father. And after discussions between the judge and both sides' lawyers, it was divorced that the reason behind Brooke never being home for those 2 weeks was due to her having another affair. And now, everyone has come to the conclusion that she deserves no more time with Ben. However, there is a concern about my son having full custody of Ben still, since he has to always travel for work, leaving Ben all alone at home. And so my son has been thinking about quitting that job of his and being here with his son more often. However, the one that told him not to do that was Ben himself. He told his father that the job he had is so cool and that he loves him no matter if he's gone for short periods of time. And so, because of that reason, my son has asked to move back in with myself and his father, and now the four of us live in this house together. And now that Ben is surrounded by both his grandparents, he's living the dream of always being spoiled before and after school every day. As for Brooke, her parents had disowned her over what had happened, and so she's on her own now working a low-end job. But in her current situation, she'll need to find more work to make money off than just having one job. Because if she doesn't, she'll be in debt for a very, very long time. And as for the man she had an affair with, he was also married, and so his wife ended up asking her for a settlement when she found out about their romance. I'm not sure what's going through the mind of Brooke at this moment, but I hope it has something to do with her regretting what she'd done to Ben, and we'll learn from it soon. Of course, everything she did is unforgivable, and so I never think I'll ever see the day that I do choose to forgive her. Just thinking about how Ben had written that letter to us back then, it makes me cry every time knowing that he was sending us such a sweet letter when his life at home was so miserable. I really wish that Brooke would have just asked me for help, and I could have been over there right away to help take some of her parenting stress off her shoulders. But after never being able to see one another, he finally found whatever strength he had left to find his way to me asking for my help. I'm never going to let Ben have any more heartbreaking memories like this in his life. From now on, I'll do everything I can to make sure that Ben lives the happiest life he can, and to do so, I'm going to be spoiling the heck out of him.
Hello there, Michaela. Have you finished rearranging the furniture in my room yet? Hi, Bernice. Yep, all done. I moved the bed and chest of drawers. Oh no, you moved them already? Forgive me, but you'll have to move them back. Huh? I changed my mind. I decided I liked everything just the way it was. Sorry to trouble you like this, dear. I know you went out of your way to move them for me, but the more I think about it, the more I realized I like the old setup. I wish I could do it myself. But there's no way a fragile old dear like me is capable of moving heavy furniture around. Okay, understood. I'll move them back. Oh, there was one more thing. Could you sort through all those cardboard boxes from when we moved in? They've been sat in the corner gathering cobwebs for ages now. It really is time someone did something about them. You don't mind if I open your things? I'm happy to help you out, but I can't promise everything will end up where you want it. It's fine. I just want you to get everything tidied up ASAP. If you put anything in the wrong place, I'll just have you move it again afterwards. I see. It's such a shame to have them sitting around in my brand new house like that. They're such an eyesore. Oh, that mountain of dusty cardboard boxes in your room looks simply fantastic. They really set the mood. Said no one ever. You're such a big help, Michaela, darling. I'm so thankful we have someone with so much free time on their hands living with us. Bernice, about that. I'm pretty sure I told you this when I moved in with you, that I have a job. I know that, but you work from home, right? It seems more like a casual side job type of thing to me. Anyways, what's your point? It's not a casual side job at all. I'm a full-time employee, and my contract is just as valid as someone who goes into the office 40 hours a week. I just happen to work from home. Oh, really? That's fascinating, dear. Anyway, make sure you keep on top of your housework duties. I want this place sparkling. You don't seriously think you can make me, your mother-in-law, do everything around the house when I'm so kindly letting you live with us in our family home? Didn't you say we were gonna split the housework 50-50? I did? Oh, sorry, dear, I don't remember. Did I say that? Fred said you'd agreed to it when he explained our conditions to you. I must not have heard him. Forgive me, dear. I'm getting old, you know. I'm not as sharp as I used to be. I see. By the way, I like beef stew for supper tonight. Do you mind if I make it tomorrow instead? Why do you think I said it? I want it today, dummy. But I'm still not finished moving the furniture in your room back. And when that's done, you want me to sort through all these cardboard boxes, right? I don't think I'm gonna have time. It's a daughter-in-law's job to make time. When you married my son, you made a solemn pledge to serve this family with unwavering dedication and loyalty. I am your mother-in-law, and my word is law. It would appear your parents dropped the ball in the discipline department while you were growing up. But not to worry, we'll soon fix that. I'm going to teach you a thing or two about being a woman. So just do as I say, and we'll have you whipped up into a decent, respectable wife for my son in no time. But it's already 3 p.m., which means you have at least 3 more hours to get done with everything up there. How about you get to work instead of grumbling about your responsibilities? Chop chop, darling. Those boxes aren't going to unpack themselves. Fine. I'm counting on you. I can't wait for my beef stew. Be liberal with the carrots. I can't stop eating them lately. I think I might be turning into Bugs Bunny. Michaela, this is bad. Emergency. I repeat, emergency.
Really? What is it?
Where are you right now? Are you still at the supermarket?
Yeah, I just arrived at the car park. I'm still in the car.
The supermarket is cancelled. I repeat, cancelled. You have to drive over to the Power Crystal shop over on Peeps Avenue at once.
Huh? The Power Crystal shop? What even is that, and why?
My daughter's pregnant! It said on the net that the shop is famous for their pregnancy crystals. Apparently, they encourage emotional release by helping clear blocked energy in their chakras. It said when expectant mothers wear them, they promote healthy childbirth and bonding with a baby, which means you absolutely have to go and buy her some ASAP.
Okay. I didn't really know that was a thing, but I guess I can go pick up some if that's what you want. And wow, that's great! Congratulations to Kaylee on the baby!
Isn't it just? It's been donkey's years since we had such splendid news. Not only that, but she's already 5 months gone.
Wow, 5 months? That means the baby will be born this year.
Still, I can't believe she waited all this time to tell her own mother. That girl has always had a certain coldness about her.
I guess everyone feels ready at different times. The early days are unpredictable. I doubt she was being cold. I bet she just didn't want to get your hopes up. She probably felt more comfortable telling you when she knew things looked certain. Things tend to stabilize a lot around the 5-month mark.
I suppose it's all water under the bridge now. I'm just happy she's pregnant. I can't believe it. I'm finally going to be a grandma. It's like all my Christmases have come at once. To tell you the truth, I always thought Fred would be the first one to give me grandchildren. Unfortunately, it would appear you two have no intention of giving me what I want.
We do want kids one day. We're just not ready yet, is all.
Really? Could have fooled me. You've been married 3 whole years now and still not so much as hint of baby talk. I was convinced you were dead set on letting your eggs dry up. Wait a sec. Michaela, are you infertile?
What? No way.
I wonder. I doubt you'd even tell me if you were. So, get this. I read something very interesting online the other day. Apparently girls with a lot of notches on their bedposts find it harder to fall pregnant. Now, I know your dress sense is a little extravagant. Forgive me if this sounds rude, and this is just a hunch, but if by any chance did you go around the block a few times before you settled down with my son, I think you catch my drift.
Wow, Bernice, did you seriously just ask me that? No!
Oh, no, I didn't touch a nerve, did I, darling? I'm sorry, I really didn't mean anything by it. That's just the kind of girl you look like is all.
There's nothing wrong with liking colorful clothes.
It's okay, you don't have to try and justify yourself to me. I hope you're not upset. Anyway, ready for the gender reveal? Word is it's a boy.
With Kaylee as his mom, I bet he'll be super handsome. He's bound to grow into a little heartbreaker.
Aren't you even a little disappointed? do housework sometimes. Why don't you make him wear a dress while you're at it? How do you sleep at night? My son works day in, day out to make sure you have everything you need, and you repay him by treating him like your errand boy maidservant? It's time you got your act together, young lady. Me and Fred agreed to split the housework because we both work full-time. Do not compare your job with what my son does. I've seen you working on your laptop in the kitchen. I'm not sure exactly what it is you do, but it always looks like you're playing video games or watching movies to me. Do not take advantage of his kindness. Start treating him with more respect. Can you just give me a break for one day? Point taken loud and clear. I suppose I'll have to go and pick up the beers myself. You know what? Fine. I know firsthand what a slave driver you are now. I'm sorry. That's okay. What do I care? You'll be leaving soon. Wait, what? Leaving? My daughter will be coming to stay for a home birth. Kaylee? At the house? Oh, I can't help but worry about her. What with it being her first and all? I'd be failing in my duty as a mother if I wasn't there to support her when she needed me most. So, she's coming to stay here? Are you stupid, girl? Yes, obviously here. My house that my son had built for me. Where else would she do a home birth, dummy? I want you gone while she's here. She'd feel uncomfortable with a stranger like you hanging around. What are you talking about? The only one who'll be leaving is you. What am I talking about? What are you talking about, Missy? Are you on drugs? I know I told you to take some medicine, but I didn't say drink the whole bottle. I'm the one who had this house built, not Fred. If you're gonna try and kick me out of my own house, then you can get the hell out yourself. Stop it, dear. I'm creasing up here. How could a low-income peasant like you possibly make enough to afford to have a house like this built? I bet you have pocket change at best with that poxy little job of yours. My salary is double Fred's. I knew it. That fever must be making you delirious. Get some sleep and stop talking nonsense. Actually, wait. You need to get your things together first. I'll be handing over your office to Kaylee to use as your bedroom. I want you gone before the end of the next month. I can't wait to live with just my family again. It's going to be so refreshing not to have any unwelcome strangers hanging around for a change. Got it. By the end of the month, right? Don't worry. I'll get everything together. Michaela, what's going on? Where are you? Out for dinner. The front door won't open. My key won't fit in the lock for some reason. Hurry up and get back here. No can do. Me and Fred just arrived at the restaurant. We're gonna enjoy our meal in peace, thanks. What am I supposed to do then? Hang around out here in the yard until you two finish eating? It's fine. You don't have to wait around. In fact, it's probably best that you don't. You don't live there anymore. Excuse me? The reason the door won't open is because I had the locks changed. You won't be going inside again. Oh, and I'll call the police immediately if you do anything stupid like breaking the windows to get in. I have a camera linked to an app on my phone, so don't think I won't know. I must say, Bernice, you look a little panicked right now. Oh my god, you're watching me? Ugh, so creepy. Wait a sec, is this because I gave you your marching orders because Kaylee's coming home? I'd be lying if I said it didn't play a part. You're the most wicked, malicious person I've ever met. How could you do this to me and Kaylee? This is our first child we're talking about here. Wouldn't you feel bad for her as she couldn't come back to the family home for birth? Like I said before, it's not the family home. I had it built with my own hard-earned money. It's my name on the deed. And you only live there because I was letting you live there. You had it built in your name? No way, I don't believe you. You have to be lying. You're free to think that if it makes you feel better. Me and Fred are breaking things off with you. We put all your stuff together and left it in a rental storage container. The key's in the post box, so take it and get lost. You took all of my things? What the hell are you playing at, young lady? Is this how you're paying me for all I've done for you? How could you do this to your own mother-in-law? That's weird. I don't remember you doing anything for me at all. To me? Sure. If we're talking things you did to me, we have the endless bullying, harassment, slave driving, and general all-around unpleasantness you subjected me to. But for me? Nope, zero, zitch, nada. We weren't even that keen on having you move in with us in the first place. You're the one who showed up outside of our apartment while we were having the house built and broke down in tears, begging us to let you live with us when it was finished because you were so lonely, remember? I've been all on my own ever since my husband passed away. What do you expect? It's only right that Fred let me live with him. He's my eldest son. We agreed to let you stay as long as you respected our rules. The problem is, you haven't respected them at all for the entire 3 months you've been here. You really feel that way? You left all the housework to me. You constantly bugged me with your asinine bullshit while I was working during the day and made it hard to focus on my job. You did nothing but complain about the food, despite the fact that I cooked every single meal, and you never lifted a finger. It's like you thought you were staying at a hotel. You didn't stop, despite Fred warning you countless times. And if anything, you got worse. But that's because I'm your mother-in-law. You have duties to fulfill to me as my son's wife. No, you have a duty to respect the rules in our house. If you can't do that, then we don't want you around. It's really that simple. You were so convinced the house belonged to Fred, you invited Kaylee back for a home birth without any input from either of us. Then, as if that wasn't enough, you tried to kick me out? That was the last straw. Everyone has their limits, Bernice. And you pushed me far past mine. Something tells me you have no idea how good you had it these past 3 months. You will soon though, because the freeloading ends here. Michaela, Fred won't answer the phone. You're together now, right? Will you tell him to pick it up? Sorry, no can do. He just blocked your number. I'll be doing the same. No, wait. Please, Michaela, don't you think this is a little dramatic? You can't be serious about breaking things off with me. That means we never see each other again, you know? I'm a veritable ray of sunshine. Can you imagine how gloomy your lives would be without me in it? It doesn't even bear thinking about. Right, of course you don't want that. Let's all calm down and get together to talk things through, shall we? I think we're all just misunderstanding each other here. Yes, that's it. This is all one big misunderstanding. I can't think of anything better than life without you in it, Bernice. And ray of sunshine? Try torrential downpour? Go on. What are we misunderstood on? Neither of us have anything to say to you. You had ample opportunity to change your ways. Fine, I admit it. I probably over-relied on you a little at times. But surely the birth of Kaylee's baby is a different matter? Why should she suffer the consequences of our squabbles? Please, will you at least let me stay at the house until the baby is born? No way. If we let you stay, you'd hang on for dear life when it finally came to leaving. You kick and scream and it'd be one big bothersome shit show. No thanks. We can do without the drama. At least with the locks changed and your stuff in the storage, we can just call the cops if you hang around outside. Sorry, dear. I don't remember. Did I say that? I can see it coming already. Like hell, we are letting you warn your way back in. Please, I never say those things. But those are direct quotes. 2 of your favorite lines. Don't you remember them either? You have an awfully selective memory. I don't trust you one bit. Besides, I heard from Kaylee. She said she wanted to stay in the hospital, but you insisted she had to do a home birth. She hadn't even considered the idea before you started barking orders at her. I thought she might change her mind if we got the place ready for her and made everything to her liking. She already has her eye on a maternity hospital. She says she's gonna do the birth there, which means you don't have to worry yourself with the home birth stuff anymore. And you don't need to be at our house for a second longer. Now go find yourself somewhere else to live and stop bothering us. Michaela, I'm so sorry. Oh? I admit I was at fault. I treated you unfairly. Please forgive me. I'm begging you. Please let me carry on living at the house. You still don't get it, do you, Bernice? There isn't an issue of us forgiving or not forgiving you. There is an issue of us kicking you out of the house and cutting you out of our lives for good. Don't say such horrible things. Look, I admit it. I might have said the occasional horrible thing to you myself, but that was just my way of giving advice as someone who's been a stay-at-home housewife for 30 years. I thought I could educate you in the womanly ways, but you're obviously very independent and capable enough to get by without my help, and I see that now. I never did any of it with bad intentions. I did it because I care. Interesting. In that case, you have an incredible talent for making people you care about feel like absolute crap. It's the truth. Please, won't you forgive me? I acknowledge and accepted you as my son's wife in my own way. I enjoyed living with you, you know. I was really looking forward to our future together as a family. You mean you were looking forward to your future of treating me like your slave? It's obvious you look at me with contempt. You tried forcing me to go shopping despite me going bedbound with a nasty fever. Then, you tried kicking me out of my own house so you could force your daughter to give birth in it. Call me crazy, but I'm finding it really difficult to detect any sincerity in what you're saying right now. The only reason I put up with your crap is because you're Fred's mom. If you were anyone else, you'd have been gone in a heartbeat. I feel like an idiot for tolerating you for so long. I'm so sorry, dear. I mean it from the bottom of my heart. I'll never treat it like my house again, I swear. Just let me back in. I'll be the perfect guest from now on. Please just don't kick me out, anything but that. Sorry, no can do. I thought this for a while, but I feel uncomfortable with a stranger like you hanging around. That's why I'm actually really grateful you tried kicking me out. I can't wait to live with just my family again. It's going to be so refreshing not to have any unwelcome strangers hanging around for a change. Me and Fred returned home from our meal to find a distraught Bernice rocking back and forth in a fetal position in the backyard while repeating, "It's just a nightmare. You wake up soon." To herself like a mental patient who forgot to take her meds. But when she saw her son's face, the harsh reality came crashing down on her and she broke down in a fit of hysterics and demanded we let her back inside the house. We told her countless times that wouldn't be happening and that she had to leave, but it went in one ear and out the other. By that time, mine and Fred's patience had reached its limits. We went inside the house and made sure all the doors and windows were firmly locked, leaving her out there in the yard, a crumpled, tear-stained mess. By the next morning, she was gone. We knew she wouldn't have what it took to stay the night out there, so rather than waste any more time with her, we just let the elements do their thing. She showed up at the house a few more times after that, but we never saw her again after we made it clear we'd call the cops if she didn't cut it out. Something tells me she knew I wasn't joking, and with that, her will to fight withered away. Kaylee told me she kept getting hysterical 2 a.m. phone calls from her despairing mother, whose life had now completely fallen apart. She initially felt bad for her, but eventually lost patience and gave her what for when she realized all she was calling to do was badmouth me and Fred. Apparently Kaylee had been sick and tired of her mom for a while and decided to break things off with her too. None of us have any idea where Bernice is or what she's doing now. To tell you the truth, I couldn't care less. We cut her out of our lives for a reason, and we don't regret it one bit. Even if my husband and his sister do decide to forgive her and start having some kind of relationship again someday, I most definitely will not. While the mother-in-law from hell, now nothing but a bad memory, I'm finally able to relax in my own house, and it feels great. Since we didn't see each other that often until she moved in with us, I didn't know what she was like, which is why I made the mistake of assuming she was a decent human being. Boy, was I wrong in that one. I reluctantly agreed to have her moved in with us because I felt bad for her being a lonely widow, and her breaking down in tears on me just pulled at my heartstrings even more. But now, I can say without any shadow of a doubt, it was one of the biggest mistakes of my life. That said, just knowing that I'll never see her again somehow fills my heart with a contented feeling of peace and tranquility. And for the first time in a long time, I feel optimistic about the future. It's only natural to want your husband's mom to like you, but there's no bigger exercise in fertility than trying to win the approval of someone who isn't even worthy of being in your life to begin with. I'm gonna spend the time I used to spend trying to please my overbearing mother-in-law more wisely from now on important people who deserve it.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
You seriously need to start making more of an effort, Greta.
Maggie, what do you mean?
With Chad.
Chad? What about him?
Is he really my grandson?
Yes, of course he is.
He doesn't even say hello to me when we walk past each other on the street. Not only that, but he won't even look at me. How on earth are you raising that boy for his manners to be this bad?
Huh? But when I go out on walks with Chad, he always says hi to the neighbors. He's usually so polite. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? I don't need him. What value is a boy who's all smiles when it comes to a bunch of neighborhood strangers, but can't even say hi to his own grandmother? You may as well have him adopted if this is how he's going to act. Please start taking my reputation into consideration from now on. Do you have any idea how embarrassing it would be if any of the neighbors saw my own grandson ignoring me?
Maggie, I told you this before, but my son isn't some tool to boost your reputation. You wait outside the gates after school, snatch him away from his friends, and force him to carry your bags. You never stop talking about how he's going to Harvard and make him spend nearly all his free time with private tutors. Have you ever stopped to consider that maybe he's just avoiding you because he doesn't like the way you treat him?
I've never heard such cheek. How dare you speak to your mother-in-law like that?
Believe me, I want him to like his grandma too. But if you insist on continuing to treat him like this, I seriously doubt he ever will.
Are you saying I'm at fault here? That's simply not true. I've been around a lot longer than you, young lady, which means I know a damn sight more about the world than you do. The problem here is your parenting, plain and simple. If you were teaching him the proper manners, this wouldn't be happening. The first step is to acknowledge your flaws as flaws, Greta. You'll never make any progress if you carry on living in denial.
Right. Sorry.
Anyway, do you have a date for the birth yet?
Huh?
Graham told me. He told me you're pregnant again. Why didn't you tell me first? To think you'd keep your own mother-in-law in the dark.
Sorry, I've been so busy lately I've barely had time to think.
Oh, this is what I mean when I talk about your flaws. You really should be working on improving this aspect of your personality. Let me make one thing clear. You absolutely will be giving birth to a girl this time. I won't forgive you if you give me another boy.
You won't forgive me? That's totally out of my control.
Yes, I won't forgive you. I think you know why, too. What do you plan on doing if you pop out another rude, disrespectful brat like Chad? What this family needs is some brightness and warmth. All you've done is provide us with misery so far. I know you can do this, Greta, so don't let me down, okay? By the way, if it is a girl, I will be naming her. Make sure you don't go sticking your nose in and trying to influence my decision, okay?
Excuse me? You'll be naming my daughter?
Of course. I've dreamed of having a little granddaughter for so long now. But me and my ex-husband got divorced very quickly and Graham is my only child. But remember, as his wife, you are technically my daughter, so you're obliged to defer to me on naming rights.
So basically I should just keep my mouth shut while you pick my daughter's name for me?
Exactly. See, you get it. Perhaps you're more intelligent than I thought.
You can't be serious. Surely a child's parents should be the ones who decide on a name.
A mother-in-law's word is absolute. If you won't acknowledge that simple principle, you're not even doing the bare minimum required for me and you to have a positive relationship. I suggest you think long and hard, young lady. Anyway, this isn't a discussion. What I say is final. Make sure you take Graham with you every time you go to the hospital for a scan. Since you can't be trusted to communicate with me properly, you can take my son with you. I want to know whether it's a boy or girl as soon as you two get the news. Do I make myself clear? It's a boy, isn't it?
Yes.
You really are the most useless wife of all time. How many times did I tell you to give us a girl? Graham is sick and tired of you too.
Maggie, listen to me. Whether my child is a girl or a boy makes no difference to me. I'll love it all the same regardless of gender. But seeing my husband screaming and shouting like that at the hospital today was honestly terrifying.
Graham was shouting?
Yes. Stuff like, why isn't it a girl? And do something about this, you useless quack of a doctor. Then he grabbed the doctor by the scruff of the neck. When he was done giving the staff what for, he turned on me, yelling in my face till he had nothing left to yell. Then he just went home on his own. Why the hell is a child's gender so important in the first place? I don't know what to do anymore. Graham's supposed to be the one I can rely on the most in the world, but I feel like I barely recognize him anymore. Please, will you talk to him for me?
Not a chance.
Huh?
Oh, what do you mean, huh? As far as I'm concerned, Graham did nothing wrong. We've been telling you we want to have a daughter since forever. And what did you go and do in spite of that? We also made it very clear to the doctor from day one. Not just that, but I've been phoning him every day ever since just to make sure he got the message.
You did what? You phoned the hospital every single day?
Of course I did. The incompetence astounds me. To think we went out of our way to make sure both of you had ample warning and still managed to fail in your duties. You should be ashamed of yourselves. He's a hack, and he deserves to have his license revoked. Isn't it only natural that someone so bad at their job should be yelled at? My son did nothing wrong. Hospitals are ultimately businesses after all. Why the hell do they exist in the first place if not to meet customers' needs?
Wow, I'm in total disbelief here. The gender of the baby was nothing to do with the doctor. Do you really think he has any influence over that?
Medical technology is very advanced these days. Advanced, I tell you. There must have been something he could have done. I advise you to stop giving unsolicited opinions on matters you don't understand. But wow, Greta, seriously, another boy? Oh, Lord, give me strength. At least tell me you're having him aborted.
My God, what's wrong with you? I'd never do that.
Fine, then we have no choice. You forced my hand. The boy will be having a sex change.
Huh?
Oh, you hear about it all the time. People who identify as females despite being born in male bodies. They have operations to turn them into girls so the exterior matches how they feel inside. See to it that he has the operation as soon as he's born. If money's a problem, I'll cover it, so don't worry about that. Well, what do you think? Greta, are you there? Are you reading my messages?
Sorry, I had the sudden urge to throw up.
Oh, come on, you're such a whiner. It's only a bit of morning sickness. You've done this before, surely you should be used to it by now.
No, it wasn't morning sickness that made me feel like vomiting. It was you. You're absolutely disgusting.
Excuse me?
No one in their right mind would seriously think it's a good idea to make a newborn baby have a sex change operation. First of all, you're only saying that for your own selfish reasons. You literally have no regard for what he himself might want. It's genuinely sickening.
Oh, get off your high horse, you stupid bimbo. I wish my son never met you. If you think you're going to get away with speaking to me like this, you've got another thing coming. I have some tricks up my sleeve, you know. You'd be a fool to underestimate me.
Do whatever you want. I don't want to have anything to do with any of it.
Rita, is everything okay?
Hey, Mom, what do you mean? Did something happen?
Your stuff's here.
Huh? Did something happen?
Your personal belongings just arrived at my house. I assumed it was you who sent them.
What?
What? You mean it wasn't? You didn't know anything about this.
No, it's the first I've heard of it. I'm at work today. When you say my personal belongings, what exactly do you mean?
A moving company showed up with about 10 cardboard boxes full of your stuff. They're labeled stuff like clothing, furniture, accessories, you know, everyday items.
What the?
Don't you have any idea who could have done this? It couldn't be. Wait, how are things between you and Graham? Are you two getting along?
Mom, can I come stay with you at your place today? I have the next 2 days off work.
Of course. That's fine, darling. If you want to talk about something, I'm here, okay? Greta, did your belongings arrive at your mother's house yet?
I knew it. It was you.
Aren't I just the worst? But really, what did you expect? Graham's got my back on this one. He agreed it was the right thing to do. The divorce papers should be arriving by post tomorrow, so make sure you get them signed and submitted ASAP.
Divorce? That's something for me and my husband to decide in private. We haven't even discussed it yet. Surely you can't be serious.
Graham's the one who asked me to send them to you in the first place. Don't shoot the messenger. He said he had nothing to say to you, so he asked me to tell you instead.
I see. And where do you propose the kids fit into all this? Did you think about that?
The kids? Oh, those useless brats. What good are they to us? You can have them. You can raise brat number 2 by yourself as well. My son will be paying the bare minimum he's required to in child support, so don't worry about money.
See. Fine. I'll sign the divorce papers immediately and hand them in tomorrow.
Well, would you look at that? Look how she changes her tune the moment money is mentioned. Oh, you're so transparent. It looks like you are only getting your grubby mitts on my son's money all this time.
Don't make me laugh. I don't want your money. My dad's sat next to me right now, and he saw all your messages. He told me to cut both of you out of my life immediately. And you know what? I think that's a great idea. So that's what I'm gonna do. He told me he'll be looking out for me financially from now on.
Your dad? He was involved in real estate, right? I remember Graham telling me something about him owning a lot of property on the West Coast. He also told me about how, in spite of that, he hasn't helped the two of you out financially even once since you got together.
That's because he wanted us to know the hardships of earning money and learn to get by on our own merits. He thought we'd never learn anything if we had everything handed to us on a plate. And I agree. Don't get me wrong, things were difficult at times, but I feel like I'm a wiser person for it. Anyway, now I'm bringing in a little money on my own, too. With a little financial support from my dad, I'll be absolutely fine if I never received another cent from either of you, and that's what I intend to do.
Have it your way. Look at the way you speak about us. Anyone would think me and my son had done something wrong. But there's where you're mistaken. The only one in the wrong here is you. You, the worthless wife who couldn't produce a girl. You had one job.
Tell me, Maggie, why are you so obsessed with the gender of your grandchildren?
Isn't it obvious? If it's a girl, we could have her take all kinds of lessons from a young age. Singing, dancing, piano, acting. We could raise her into the ultimate superstar actress. Then one day, when she makes it onto the big screen and she's a household name in America, she can buy me a big, luxurious mansion by way of thanks. I saw a similar story on the news just recently, in fact. With Graham's good looks and my high intelligence, she'd have beauty and brains in ample supply. I really think she'd have what it takes to go the distance. But no, those hopes and dreams were dashed against the rocks by this abject failure of a wife.
I've had enough. I'm struggling to even bring myself to reply to you anymore. You're the most selfish person I've ever met.
Whether parents or grandparents, everyone has a responsibility to show gratitude towards the people who raised them. Oh, and you've made your decision now, which means you better make sure you don't pester us for money after this. You had your chance and you blew it.
I told you very clearly I don't want your money. With that out of the way, I think we're done here. Never contact me or my family ever again. I want nothing more to do with either of you.
That's my line. How fortunate for me and Graham. We get to cut you out of our lives like the tumor that you are without even having to pay a cent. Goodbye forever, you useless good-for-nothing. Edith, oh my, it's been a while. How have you been? Oh, it's me, Maggie. You know, the exceptionally kind woman who allowed your tragically useless daughter into her family for a little while.
I see. My daughter told me you'd never be contacting me again, so I didn't know who it was.
Well, you see, that was my intention, but things have changed. I messaged you because there's something I urgently need to talk to Greta about. I couldn't get through to her number, so I messaged you instead.
I see. What is it then? Why do you want to talk to my daughter?
Well, you see, here's the thing. Graham got married last year.
Oh, he did. That's amazing news. Congratulations.
No, it's not amazing news at all.
Excuse me?
His new wife is just awful. I've never met anyone with such a rotten personality. She seems hell-bent on making an enemy of me. On top of that, she's the one who wears the trousers in the relationship. She turned my poor Graham into her own personal worker drone slave. Even he can't make her see sense.
I see. That's a real shame.
But wait, that's not even the half of it. The most unbelievable thing is that apparently she can't even have kids.
Oh, really? Well, there are all sorts of couples around these days. I suppose that's just the modern age for you.
Oh, that's not the point. I wanted Graham to provide me with a little girl more than anything. Surely it's a wife's duty to meet her mother-in-law's expectations. Oh, good grief. Anyway, now you understand the awful situation we're in. I'll get to the matter at hand. You see, I was wondering if your lovely daughter Greta would get back with my son.
Excuse me?
Let's face it, I'm not the spring chicken I once was. I'll probably be in need of care within, 10 years? I'd have to be delusional to think there was any hope of his current bitch queen of a wife looking after me.
So basically, Maggie, what you're saying here is that you want my daughter to get back with your son so she can change your diapers when you get old?
Oh, why do you have to put it like that? Anyway, that's not the only reason. Look, if you get her to come back, me and Graham will accept both of their boys back into the family, and they can finally be raised by their mom and dad together. We're even willing to overlook the unfortunate fact of their genders. How does that sound?
I don't even need to bother my daughter with this nonsense. The answer is obviously a big fat no.
What?
Besides, you just told me he's married. What about his current wife?
Well, naturally, I'll be having him divorce her. A woman like that is simply not suitable to be part of our family.
Lucky girl. I wouldn't wish the misfortune of being part of your family on my worst enemy.
Oh, what's that supposed to mean?
But really, if anything, you're the ones who aren't suitable for my daughter. Greta won't be having anything to do with either of you again, just like she's already told you very clearly.
So that's how you're going to act, is it? I see the apple didn't fall far from the tree. You're just as bad as her. Your manners are abominable. You're so arrogant. It's about time someone knocked you down a peg. Fine, have it your way. I'm never contacting you again, and don't think I'm bluffing this time, I mean it.
Wow, really? Thank you so much.
Oh, what good is a wife who can only produce boys anyway? Good riddance.
Oh yeah. One last thing before you go. It's about the baby. Her name's Angelica.
WTF?
Like Greta came up with it all by herself. You know, because that's what parents do. Isn't it just beautiful?
Wait, what? Just wait, can you confirm something for me?
Sure.
You're talking about the baby that was born just after the divorce, aren't you? That was a boy, wasn't it?
Nope, girl.
What?
Oh no, don't tell me you didn't know.
Obviously I didn't know. The doctor himself told me it was a boy.
Ah, of course. So get this. It turns out the image on the ultrasound at her first checkup was blurry, which means the doctor got it wrong. He realized his mistake after the third scan. My beautiful granddaughter. She's the biggest bundle of joy you could ever lay eyes on. Chad and her grandpa absolutely dote on her.
I don't believe it. That kind of thing actually happens? You're lying. You do realize I can find out whether what you're saying is true very easily, don't you? Just come clean.
Let me just stop you there, sweetie. You are absolutely not, under any circumstances, welcome at our house. Okay? I could send you a photo to prove I'm not lying. But actually, you know what? Why do I even need to prove anything to you? You mean nothing to me or my daughter, and really you shouldn't even be speaking to me right now. I'd feel bad for little Angelica to have someone like you even seeing a photo of her, so I'm gonna pass on that one.
Don't mess me around, Edith. Is she a girl or not?
Yep. Anyways, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and pick the kids up from school.
Wait! Edith, please.
Excuse me?
I'm being bullied by my new daughter-in-law on a daily basis. I've taken to the bottle. I barely eat or sleep. Please. My son's no use either. She's got him wrapped around her little finger. I think they may actually end up kicking me out of the house at this rate.
Oh, no.
So please, Edith, won't you and Greta welcome me into your family?
You can't be serious.
I mean, it's hardly fair to make me a pariah, isn't it? Little Brad and Angelica are my grandchildren, after all. Let me live with them. You wouldn't deprive them of their grandmother, would you?
Maggie, your grandson's name is Chad. Anyway, you must be joking me, right? This is all a joke, isn't it?
Yes, I meant Chad. My lovely, darling Chad. Oh, please, Edith, why would I joke about something like this? I'm 100% serious. I'm begging you here. If we weren't messaging each other, I'd be on my knees right now. Oh, so what do you say? Will you persuade Greta for me?
Persuade her? The answer is no. You'll never set foot in this house again. Do you have no recollection of how awfully you treated my daughter?
Ugh, that's ancient history. Get over it already. I want to see my grandchildren.
You're the one who wanted nothing to do with them in the first place. You have no right to be part of their lives anymore.
Oh, you stubborn old hag. Who do you think you are? Look at you trying to keep my grandchildren all to yourself. You're the worst. I can't get by as a woman on my own. If my daughter-in-law kicks me out, I'm finished. I'll be starving and homeless. If something happens to me, it'll be yours and your daughter's fault. Do you really want that on your conscience?
Don't worry, Maggie. You'll be fine. If you can't get by on your own as a woman, I think the solution's actually staring you right in the face.
Huh?
A sex change. Medical technology is very advanced these days, Maggie. Advanced, I tell ya.
Oh, do not screw me around. You better not block me. I'll never forgive you. Are you there? Edith!
Later on, my ex-mother-in-law attempted a full frontal assault on our house. Although she didn't get in and eventually gave up and went home when we completely ignored her, we decided it simply wasn't safe for us to continue living there if it meant our whereabouts were being known by such an unhinged lunatic, which is why we decided to move house. This was 2 years ago, and we haven't had any problems since. According to my mom's sources, her worst fears came true. My ex-mother-in-law was indeed given her marching orders by her new daughter-in-law, the ruler of the roost. Word is that she's currently spending her days living alone in a cramped, moldy apartment with a severe cockroach infestation, eating away at her savings and crying herself to sleep. It looks like my ex-husband made a serious miscalculation in choosing a new wife. She's unemployed, doesn't help out with the housework, and her hobbies consist mostly of drinking, gambling, spending his money, and, wait for it, having affairs. To make matters worse for poor Graham, she's super domineering. She not only forces him to work obscene amounts of overtime, but then he has to do all the housework when he gets home. I did once get a desperate message begging me to take him back, replete with groveling apologies and love hearts, but of course, I ignored it. Right now, I'm living happily with my son and daughter with the support of my parents, who are the kindest people I know. One thing's for sure, life's a lot more peaceful than it was when the terrible two were around.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hey, Stan? Just checking, did you leave a styrofoam box on the front doorstep last night?
Styrofoam box? Oh, yeah, that was me.
I thought so.
Those were the fish I caught out on the lake yesterday.
Well, I hope you weren't planning on eating that fish.
Huh? Why? What happened? Oh, shoot! I totally forgot to bring the box inside last night. Man, this really sucks. I'll bet they've gone bad for sure, haven't they?
You could say that, yeah. But to say that they went bad wouldn't quite describe the situation. I heard a loud pop at the front door just a few minutes ago, and when I went to check what it was, well, it looks like the box blew up.
What? It blew up? What do you mean?
It's over 100 degrees outside today, Stan. The heat caused the fish to rot, and as it decomposed, gas started to build up inside the box. Which wouldn't have been a problem if you hadn't taped the box shut, but with nowhere to go, the gas kept building up, and then, boom!
That's hilarious. You mean fish actually blow up like a stink bomb or something?
Well, I'm glad at least one of us is able to laugh about this. You should see the front porch right now. It's a total disaster area. And the smell is awful. I just got a call from one of the neighbors asking if I knew what was causing it.
Oh, well then I guess you'd better hurry and clean it up.
Exactly what do you think I'm doing right now?
If you're so busy cleaning it up, then how do you have time to be texting me right now?
Because I thought you deserved to know. After all, you're the reason both the front porch and me are covered in fish guts right now.
What are you getting so upset at me for? It's not like I left it there on purpose or anything. I just forgot. My bad. I'll try to remember next time.
On purpose or not, you're still the one who's responsible for this. I don't think we're going to be able to get rid of this smell for quite some time. I'll have to keep coming out here every day and scrubbing it down with something. I'd appreciate if you could give me a hand with cleaning up once you get home.
Nah, if you clean it properly, the smell won't be a problem at all. Plus, you got more than enough free time on your hands. You could just do it by yourself. Unlike you, I actually have work to do today.
Excuse me? I don't like the tone you're striking with me right now. I have more than enough to do already without having to scrub fish guts off the porch in 100-degree weather. So no, I don't have much free time at all.
Exactly what do you have going on today anyway? You're just a housewife. Don't pretend that you have stuff to do. How can you possibly be busy when all you ever have to do is cook, clean, and watch sappy romance dramas on TV all day?
First of all, I do not watch sappy romance dramas at all, much less all day. Second, even if I did, nothing changes the fact that your mistake is causing a ton of unnecessary work for me. You do get that, right? It's your fault that I've got this disgusting cleanup job to do when I could be doing anything else.
And your point is?
My point? Do I need to have a point? Don't you feel bad in the slightest about what I'm going through because of you right now? I'm cleaning up your disgusting fish guts, and so far, your only response has been laughter and snide disconcern.
Did you really text me right now just to complain?
Are you really pretending like you have nothing to apologize for?
I don't believe this. You're interrupting me at work just to complain about having to clean.
I don't think you'd be so laid back and lighthearted about this if you could actually see the state of the front porch right now. I'm cleaning up your disgusting fish guts, and so far, your only response has been laughter and snide disconcern. Are you really pretending like you have nothing to apologize for? Are you really pretending like you have nothing to apologize for? I don't think you'd be so laid back and lighthearted about this if you could actually see the state of the front porch right now.
How long are you gonna go on about this? Every second you're texting me to complain is another second you could be cleaning up the porch. And honestly, if you can't get rid of the smell, that just means you aren't cleaning it right. If you need tips, go look up how to clean up fish guts on the internet or something. Don't be such a spoiled brat.
I am not a spoiled brat.
Yeah, well, you're acting like one. I guess your mom never taught you how to clean like a real woman. Why don't you call her over and have her give you some hands-on training? Seems like a perfect opportunity to me. It's crazy to me that this is literally your only job, and yet you're just refusing to do it. What good are you if you won't even do your only job without complaining constantly?
I am not complaining constantly. I never complain. I'm trying to get you to take some responsibility for your own actions for a change. And what's this about my mom not raising me right? After how you've been talking to me today, I'd say your mom neglected to teach you basic decency. You caused a world of trouble, not only to me, but our neighbors too, and you haven't even thought to apologize.
What's up with you today? Is it that time of the month again already? You're being absolutely ridiculous about this. Lighten up already.
Here it comes. You always do this, Stan. You never lift a finger to help me, and whenever I ask you to do your part, you flip out at me.
Are you serious? I'm the one doing nothing? Where do you think I am right now? I'm working. You know, making money, that thing that you have never done.
You made me quit my job when we got married, Stan. If it were up to me, I would have loved to keep my job and contribute to our finances. I guess you think I'm an idiot for being a submissive wife and following your directions, huh?
Nuh-uh, no way. Don't you dare pin that all on me. You willingly quit your job. You don't get to complain years down the road for a decision you made.
I never thought that becoming a housewife for you meant you'd be this much of a condescending jerk to me. Ugh, this is such an exhausting conversation.
Oh, you're tired? How tired do you think I am? And let me remind you, it was you who made the first move on me way back when. You said that you'd do anything in the world for me. Don't tell me you forgot.
Yeah, and I meant that back then. But apparently, either I was completely wrong about the kind of guy you were, or you've changed into a totally different person. What do you think, Stan? Which is it? Have you always been a jerk, or is this a more recent development?
You think I'm gonna sit here and let you talk to me like that?
I'm just telling you like it is, Stan. Don't shoot the messenger.
I demand that you apologize to me for disrespecting me right now. I am your husband and you will not speak to me this way.
I won't apologize for being honest. You have been extremely disrespectful to me today, and I won't let you get away with it anymore.
I have had it with this stuck-up, ungrateful attitude of yours. You're gonna regret this.
If anything, you're the one who needs to apologize, not me.
You really don't know when to quit, do ya? If you don't apologize and fix that attitude really quick, you're gonna regret it. How long are you going to keep this up? Don't you think this has gone on for long enough?
Not in the slightest. I'm not budging.
Nothing good is going to come out of you acting like a complete brat.
I already told you, Stan, I'm never going to apologize to you. Why should I? I haven't done anything wrong.
You still don't think you're in the wrong here? God, you're a piece of work. Looks like you need to be taught a lesson then.
Oh, I do I? And what are you going to do about it?
Actually, I went and picked up a little surprise for you the other day. It's a lovely stack of divorce papers.
Divorce papers?
That's right. You're surprised, aren't you? I put them in the top drawer of the desk in my home office. Go ahead and take a look if you think I'm bluffing.
Are these for real?
Why would I go to all that trouble to print out fake ones? Sounds to me like you're terrified. Good. That means you understand what sort of a position you're in. The worst thing that could possibly happen to you is right in front of your eyes.
You said you picked these up. Did you get them from a lawyer?
Right again! You're on a roll, baby! I've already signed them, too. I think this should make it clear to you what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
If you don't apologize to me, then I'm gonna divorce you. And if that happens, your entire life is ruined. I know how crazy you are about me. If I leave you, you're gonna be miserable for the rest of your days. As for me, though, I have no use for a housewife who won't do what I say when I say. If you're not gonna change your attitude, fine. I'll just kick you to the curb and move on. There are plenty of women out there looking for a reliable man with a stable income like me. You'll be replaced before the weekend's over.
Wow. If you actually talked to an actual lawyer to draw these papers up for you, I guess that means you're serious.
Of course I'm serious. You don't want to get divorced, do you? You've been madly in love with me since we first met. You might talk a big game, but when push comes to shove, you know you don't want me to leave you.
I suppose you're right.
I know I'm right. You've been nothing but a mere housewife since we got married, so there's no way you could actually get a decent job to support yourself. If I walk away from this marriage, you're in big trouble.
Wow, Stan, you've got me right where you want me. I guess I have no choice but to do exactly as you say.
Wait, you're admitting it? I didn't think you'd break down this easily.
I surrender, Stan. You win. I may have put up a strong front, but deep down, I still love you. You're the only one for me.
I am? I mean, hell yeah, I am. Yes, it worked. You're not done, though. You know what you need to do now, right? Apologize to me. Beg me for forgiveness.
I'm sorry, Stan.
Sorry for what? Be specific now. Tell me exactly what you're sorry for. You gotta do this right.
I'm so sorry for disrespecting you, Stan. You're my husband, and I shouldn't have talked back to you like that. It must have been the heat getting into my head. I lost control and forgot my place.
Yeah, that would make sense. No one would get so angry over a tiny little thing like some fish blowing up. You were acting like a whiny kid.
You're right. I was being a total child. Sometimes children act up to test their boundaries and see how their parents react, right? I guess that's what I was doing, testing my boundaries to see how you would push back on me.
You were testing me?
Yes, and I see now how foolish I was. What was I thinking? Trying to test your resolve like that. You were right to be mad at me. It wasn't my place as a wife to criticize my husband.
Man, something feels weird here. Like I won, but somehow it doesn't feel real. You're not being sarcastic right now, are you?
Heavens, no! I'm just desperate to stay with you. When we got married, I vowed to stay with you for the rest of my life, and I intend to keep that promise. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me.
Okay, if you're being genuine, then I guess I can let it slide for today. But don't get me wrong, this is a one-time only thing, got it? You will never do something like this again. From now on, you do what I say, when I say, how I say, no complaints.
Don't worry, Stan, I'll make it up to you. I'll become a good, obedient wife, just like you want me to be.
Again, that's great to hear, but I wish you could have come to your senses without making me mad enough to threaten to divorce you. Then I wouldn't have spent all that time and money on a lawyer.
I am so truly sorry about that, Stan.
From now on, I expect you to have an attitude more appropriate for a housewife.
I will. For starters, I'll go ahead and take care of these divorce papers for you. I'd rather not have them around the house any longer.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, as long as they're in the house, I'm going to be living in constant fear of you actually deciding to divorce me. I love you so much, Stan. I don't want to lose you. You understand, right?
Okay, go ahead and get rid of them for me then.
Thank you so much, Stan. Taking these papers where they belong will be a huge burden off my shoulders.
Geez, you really do love me, don't you?
Of course I do. How could I not love a husband as good to me as you are? I can't imagine what life would be like without you.
Hey, today's garbage day, right? Did you throw away the divorce papers yesterday like you said?
Wow, you actually knew what day garbage day is? That's a shock.
Hey, what happened to what you said yesterday? You promised that you'd be more respectful to me as your husband. Anyway, I was wondering what you did with those divorce papers. You said you were going to take care of them. I was just checking if you actually did.
Let me spell it out for you in the simplest terms possible. I took care of them, just like I said. And as such, we're now no longer a couple. So I don't need to be respectful of you as my husband anymore. You're not my husband.
Wait, what are you talking about? What did you do with the divorce papers, Annie?
I told you I took care of them. Really good care of them, all the way down to the courthouse where I submitted them to the clerk. They were accepted, and as of yesterday evening, we are officially divorced.
You what? You said you were going to throw them away. Why did you submit them?
Wrong. I said I was going to take care of them. You should have been more specific. Seriously, though, I can't believe you actually went ahead and signed them in advance. You were trying to scare me into compliance, but you actually played right into my hands.
What's wrong with you? You were going on and on yesterday about how you were terrified of me leaving you.
Yep, but the truth is that I was so excited to be rid of you, I could barely hold it in. Trying to use a signed set of divorce papers to threaten me was the worst idea you have ever had. Not only did your empty threats fail, you did me a massive favor.
You said that you loved me, that you'd always love me. You said you'd obey me and be a good wife to me.
Did I really? Sorry, it must have slipped my mind. I don't remember that at all.
Don't give me that. You promised, Annie.
Boy, I am not remembering that at all, Stan. Sorry.
What on earth has gotten into you? Whatever. We'll just have to fix this. Go back to the courthouse and pick up an application for a marriage certificate.
What good would that do you? You would still need me to sign that in order for it to be accepted. And I will never sign it.
Are you drunk or something? Just what in the world are you trying to do right now?
I don't know. Seems like it should all be pretty easy to understand if you ask me. I wanted to divorce you. You gave me signed divorce papers. I submitted them. The end.
I think the heat must have gotten to your head again, Annie. I'll just give you a week or so to cool off. You'll be desperate to remarry me by then.
I see you're still under the impression that I'm in love with you.
Well, yeah, you are in love with me.
Wow, Stan, you're something else. Ever heard the expression that someone's IQ is lower than the room temperature? That could have been written about you.
Annie, where did you go? Your clothes are gone, your makeup is gone, everything of yours is gone. Are you running away from home?
Wow, you're home early. Something on your mind? I'm all ears.
I'm asking where you went, Annie. Tell me.
I'm at my parents' house. We're divorced now, so there's not much point in me still living together with you anymore. Plus, I didn't really feel like talking to you in person. So I moved out while you were away.
I don't believe this. Not only did you submit those stupid divorce papers without my permission, now you're running away from home?
Who was it that signed them, Stan? You did. All I did was turn them in.
I wasn't actually gonna divorce you.
Yeah, I thought not. I knew you were just bluffing. I wasn't, though.
Get back here right now. You need to sign our new marriage certificate.
Why are you so afraid of divorcing me, Stan? Are you afraid of losing access to my family's finances? You think you'll have a harder retirement without my parents' inheritance?
You're the one who's got something to be afraid of, not me!
Oh yeah? What's that?
You're in love with me, and you can't make it on your own!
In love? With you? It's a bit early to start drinking, isn't it, Stan? You couldn't possibly have thought I was going to keep on loving you forever.
What are you trying to say?
I have no intention to keep on loving a husband who does nothing but talk down to me. Any feelings I once had for you are long gone now.
You said that you were going to do what I say from now on.
Yeah, it's got to be a big shock to find out how I really feel.
Wait, you mean you tricked me?
Yeah, and it was really, really easy. I put on that act of being desperate to stay with you, and you bought it hook, line, and sinker. I was worried I laid it on a bit too thick, but I guess you're too much of an idiot to catch on.
Hey, I'm not an idiot!
Actually, the fact that I was able to divorce you so easily is proof positive that, yes, you are. You're so stupid that I'm actually starting to kind of feel sorry for you.
Don't talk down to me like that! Who do you think you are? I'm your husband!
I think I'm a happy woman who's finally free from her ex-husband.
My wife Annie would never talk to me like this. Who are you, and what have you done with my Annie?
She's gone, but she left me a message for you. She said the thing with the fish the other day was the straw that broke the camel's back. She no longer wants anything to do with you.
You're not this kind of woman, Annie. I know you're not. This isn't the woman I married.
You think you know me? You don't know the first thing about me. You've been living in a fantasy world for our entire marriage and trying to force that stupid fantasy onto me. Only kids play make-believe, Stan. It's time for you to grow up.
Grow up? Me?
Oh, but that's not even the only reason I'm divorcing you. I bet you thought you were real smooth about hiding it from me, but I know all about your affair.
What?
You made some nice little date plans with that woman in your DMs, didn't you? I saw the notification come across your screen.
No! That's not true! You must be mistaken!
Did I ever tell you one of my high school classmates was a private detective? I had him check you out. So no, I am definitely not mistaken.
Oh, no!
Who is she, a coworker? There's no point in hiding it anymore. You might as well come clean about everything.
No! You're wrong!
Ugh, I see you're gonna be impossible about this. Okay, well, I suppose I have no choice but to send these pictures of you and your mistress to your parents' house. Oh, and your office, too.
Wait, that's not what I meant. I'm not denying it. I'm just saying she's not a coworker.
Okay, then who is she?
She works at a client of ours. We do a lot of business, so, we worked together a lot.
Oh, I see. All right then, I suppose I'll have to go and inform both of your companies now.
No! You can't do that!
Oh, but I can. I can understand why you wouldn't want me to, though. If you were responsible for losing a big client, oh boy, that would be bad. I doubt they'd stop at just passing you up for a promotion. You'd be fired for sure.
Please, Annie, don't do this. I'm right in the middle of a huge project. More than that, I'm the team leader. If this comes out now, then they're gonna take me off the team for sure.
Wow, then that means it's perfect timing. Your company doesn't know the person in charge of their big project is an amoral, cheating, lying creep. Who knows what sort of trouble might happen if you're in charge of the project?
Trouble? There won't be any trouble if you keep your mouth shut.
Don't forget, Stan, you're the one who drove me to do this.
Annie, please, calm down and think about what you're doing. You're never gonna make it on your own. You need me. What are you gonna do, live with your parents for the rest of your life?
Oh, you don't need to be worried about that. I've been taking some classes online for the last several months. I got my certifications too, and I've been looking for a job recently.
What? When did this happen? If you've been taking classes, then how long have you been thinking about divorcing me?
It wasn't about divorcing you at first. It was just for my own mental health. No matter how much you belittled and insulted me, I could still hold my head high because I was learning useful skills and knowledge to make something of myself. In any case, like I said, don't worry about me. I'll be fine without you.
I can't believe this!
You sure thought you were hot stuff telling me that I need you. What happened to that confidence, Stan? It almost seems like you need me more than I need you.
Annie, I'm begging you, don't do this!
I am so excited to be single again. Thanks for making this all possible, Stan. At text exchange, my ex-husband raced out to my parents' house to apologize to me. But my dad, having heard about everything that went on, threw him off our property and into the ditch. Defeated and filthy, my ex-husband just sat there, dead-eyed in disbelief. When I thought about how much emotional turmoil he must have been going through right now, I have to admit I laughed a bit. He got removed from his leadership position on the project he was working on at his company. He was also removed from the team that works with his mistress's company. Since Stan's performance numbers were almost entirely supported by his work with that client, being removed from the team was a career death sentence for him. I doubt they'll be putting him on any major projects anytime soon. If you're wondering how I know all this, he told me himself in a letter a while back. I think he was planning on me feeling sorry for him, but honestly, it just makes me laugh even harder. And as for myself, not long after becoming newly single, I landed an awesome job, and I am absolutely loving it. It just so happens that there's a very eligible bachelor at my new company. It also just so happens that we take the same train to and from work every morning. So, who knows? Maybe my single life won't last as long as I was expecting.
Hey Rachel, how's my mom doing? You went to visit her in the hospital again today, didn't you?
Yes, Henry. She's just the same as always. Just by seeing me, she goes into a foul mood. And then, of course, she starts complaining.
That does sound just like her. I guess she must be feeling just fine then.
This isn't something to joke about. Remember last time when I was overworked and collapsed from exhaustion? She didn't even have a shred of remorse for that.
Wait, what? Why should she be remorseful of that? What does you collapsing from exhaustion have to do with her?
Of course it has something to do with her. Do you know how much she always puts me through?
Well, I guess there's a bunch of things that you do for her, but don't you think it's going a little too far to blame all of that on her directly?
She uses me for errands and chores all of the time. Just because we live kind of close, she always calls me up demanding that I do something for her. And then she just continues to complain about me to my face whenever she sees me anyway. I don't think I'm going far in blaming her at all.
But it's not like she was doing that with bad intentions. She just wanted you to help her out with some things. That's just the way she shows affection.
That's what she calls affection? Honestly, it was at the point that when I heard she was in the hospital, I thought I could finally have some relief. No more endless errands every single day.
Come on, that's too much. You shouldn't feel happy about someone ending up in the hospital. Anyway, enough about that. How did everything go today? You were supposed to meet and talk to the doctors today, weren't you? What did they say?
Well, how about that? It seems that even after she leaves the hospital, she won't be able to manage on her own anymore. Someone is going to have to take care of her.
What? Really? Like a full-time nurse?
Yeah, it's partially because of her age and partially because of her physical condition. But they said that this entire time that she's been in hospital, she has barely moved from her bed. And it looks like this will just continue as it is even after they give her the all clear to go home.
Man, I don't believe this. We're in a bit of trouble if we have to pay up to hire a full-time carer so suddenly. What did my mom say to that?
She said that she'll leave all that up to you. It seems like she herself understands how bad her current situation is, so she's not even fighting the news. She seemed almost meek when talking about it. Of course, when it comes to me, her attitude hasn't changed a bit though.
Really? She said she'll let me take care of everything? In that case, we don't have anything to worry about.
Really? You have some kind of idea? In that case, I can rest easy knowing that you have it sorted.
Why are you acting as though it has nothing to do with you? You're obviously the one who's going to become her carer.
What? I have to do it?
Yeah, that's obvious, isn't it? I'm at work during the day, so I can't be much of help. So, apart from you, who else could it be?
I know that you have work and all that, but still, you know that your mother hates me. That's why I've been having such a hard time recently.
It'll be fine. You just said that she has become a bit more weak than she was before, right? So, I don't think things will end up like they did last time. It'll be fine.
Did you even listen to what I said before? She might seem more meek than before, but her attitudes towards me is still exactly the same. She still hates me and acts exactly like she did before. Caring for her wouldn't be good for either of us.
Come on, don't back out of this before you've even tried. Once you do it, you'll see that it'll be different this time.
And if I do start to care for her, what are you gonna do? Don't tell me that you're gonna leave absolutely everything up to me.
Don't say it like that. While you're caring for her, I'm still out working, aren't I? Things are just as difficult for both of us in that case.
Oh, give me a break. I can't look after her when she takes this kind of attitude with me. What, do you want me to collapse from exhaustion a second time?
I'm telling you that there's nothing to worry about. It'll all be fine. So just pretend everything is fine and do it for a bit. Then you'll see that it's fine.
It's easy for you to say since you're not the one who'll be doing anything. You always act like you don't care about me at all. I'm your wife, you know.
Of course I care about you. But this is the situation that we have right now. So what else is there to do? I know that it'll be extra on your plate, but I'm leaving it up to you. Hey, I just finished work. I had to stay late again. It's been tough recently. How about things on your end? How's Mom doing?
I can't stand this anymore. I really can't. Sorry, Henry, but can we please just hire a professional for this?
What are you talking about? You've been able to manage up until now. It hasn't been that much of a problem for you to be with her until she goes to sleep. I don't understand what the issue is.
It's not that I'm specifically worried about her at night or anything. Actually, I'd like to hire someone who can look after her during the day as well. I know that it'll be expensive, but can't we do anything about this at all?
That would just be a waste of money, so no, we can't. And anyway, you've already been doing it for a month. Haven't you gotten used to it by now?
It's not about getting used to it or not. This has nothing to do with time. She herself doesn't want me to be her carer. She is constantly acting up, and thanks to that, I feel like I'm the one who's going to start having health issues soon.
What do you mean she's acting up? She's just acting the same as usual, isn't she?
Any single moment that she has free, she just constantly complains and gripes to my face. Sometimes she even throws things at me.
Throwing stuff isn't good. That sounds dangerous. But everything else is the same as it's always been, isn't it? So just ignore her words. You don't need to pay attention to that kind of stuff.
That's not the point. I am seriously at my limit here, Henry. I'm going to overwork myself and end up in hospital again for sure.
My mom's situation has changed for her a lot too, you know. She can't do things on her own as she used to. But despite that, you're taking this kind of attitude towards her? She's the one who is really suffering right now. Think about things like this properly.
If you think she's suffering so much, then why don't you look after her? Why do I have to do it all on my own?
I told you before, I have work. You would just be at home doing nothing if you didn't have her to care for. Don't try and lump us together. I'm not just chilling at home doing nothing all day, you know.
Why can't you just help out on your days off at least? Or if that's too much, then help me out with some of the cooking and the cleaning. It doesn't matter what, but I need you to help me out a little bit somewhere.
I told you that you're responsible for my mom and for the house. That's your job. so you take care of it on your own. Why do you think that I should have to come home from work and then do even more? Don't be so spoiled.
It's easy for you to say because you don't know how bad it is. If we changed places, you would see just how hard it is looking after her all day.
It's not hard at all. I bet you just don't know how to do it properly, so everything seems more difficult. And that's why you start complaining about all of this.
But she complains about every single thing I do. Today, she threw all of the food I cooked for her onto the floor and told me that she would rather eat dog food. Or she'll keep complaining after I clean that everything is still dirty and make me do it again. It's the same thing every single day. I really just can't bear it any longer.
See, that's what I'm telling you. It's just the way you do things that's wrong. Whether it's cooking or cleaning, it sounds like you're not doing it right.
Then what am I supposed to do? I am doing everything as I normally would.
Well, Mom has her own likes and dislikes, right? So, instead of doing everything your normal way, you should do things in her way. That way she won't complain as much anymore because everything will suit her more. Just try and think of things from her position too.
Why do I just have to sit here and hear things like this from you? Do you really care about me at all, Henry?
Yep, there it is. Stop with this, will you? Every single time something happens, you start asking me that question. Stop acting like a little child. Asking me that is the same as complaining about me.
Are you telling me that I'm in the wrong?
I'm saying that you're not the only one who has it tough right now. I'm overloaded with work and worried about my mom's health. But you only think about yourself and come to me about how hard everything is. It's really annoying.
I see. So you think that I'm annoying?
Everyone is struggling in their own way, you know? Don't act like some tragic character who's the only one going through something. All you do by doing that is burdening those around you even more.
I see. You're right. I was wrong. I guess that acting like this must make your mom feel even worse than she already does.
Exactly. I'm glad you were able to see it. Instead of gritting your teeth and feeling like you were condemned to look after her, try just doing it with a smile. That will be better for both of you in the end.
Right, I got it now. From tomorrow, I'll follow your advice. I'll do things in her way. And of course, I won't forget the smile.
I'm glad to hear that. You know my mother and I are both relying on you here. So I'll say it again, but I'll leave her care to you.
Oh, that makes me so happy to hear. I'll make sure to fully meet your expectations. I'll keep doing my best, okay?
Hey, where are you right now? Why aren't you with Mom?
I needed to step out for a bit to do some shopping. But how do you know that anyway? Are you there right now?
She called a little while ago and asked me to come down and check on her. I was in the middle of my break, so I just had just enough time to come from work.
Oh, I see.
But what's going on? I don't understand.
What do you mean? Did your mom do something?
No, she's here crying about how she doesn't want you to be her carer anymore. But even if I ask her why or what happened, she won't tell me. What did you do?
I just did as you suggested before, remember? I've been doing things as she would do them. And of course, all with a smile.
There's no way you're doing things exactly as she wanted.
What? Of course I am. I'm not lying about anything. Why do you think I am?
If you did everything as she asked, then she wouldn't be crying. No matter how you look at it, an elderly woman crying means that something is not right. Seriously, what did you do?
Look, even if you ask me that 100 times, I'm telling you that I just did things exactly as she asked.
Enough with that. Just hurry up and tell me what you did. And there's no point in lying. I'll know straight away if you do.
I'm telling you that I didn't do anything that would upset her. She said that she would prefer to eat dog food, so I gave her some. And she said that I'm so bad at cleaning that I might as well not do it. So I didn't. See? I did everything exactly as she said.
What? Are you being for real right now?
Yeah, I am. Is something the matter?
Of course there is. Why are you even asking that question? You gave her dog food to eat.
Well, she was the one who said it would be better than my cooking. Everything I did should be exactly to her liking. She was the one who told me what to do after all.
Are you an idiot? That's obviously just a figure of speech. Why did you take things so literally?
Huh? Because you told me to. You were the one who told me to do things exactly as she said.
I obviously didn't mean that. What else did you do? Did you do anything else like that? If you did, tell me right now.
Let me think. Oh, yeah. She told me that I was a spineless worm who would never talk back to anyone if they were speaking rudely to me. So I made sure to really tell her what I thought of her when she started being rude. You should have seen her face.
What are you thinking? What are you trying to do here? Who do you take my mother for?
Your mother is your mother. I haven't treated her as anything else.
Then why did you do this to her? This is going way too far. Can't you tell the difference between right and wrong?
I'd like to ask you the same question.
What? Me?
Every time your mother harasses me, you just sit there smiling. And when I was in the hospital, did you care about me in the slightest? Of course you didn't. What is it that you take me for? The two of you are always treating me like crap.
What? That's not what we're talking about right now, though, is it? We're talking about what you have just done.
Why is it okay for the two of you to hurt me? But when I fight back even a little bit, suddenly it's not okay? Why is that? What right do you have? If you can explain that to me, then start talking.
I'm saying that these are two different situations.
How are they? It's the same thing. Come on, explain to me why it's only bad when I do it.
Whatever. I've had enough of this. Anyway, just don't do anything like this again. What will we do if her condition gets any worse?
I'm sure she'll be fine. But anyway, I won't do it again. I got it all out of me. I promise it won't happen again.
I hope you're being sincere here. If you do end up doing it again, it won't end like this.
Don't worry. I was able to get all my negative emotions out. I have no intention of having anything to do with you two. So, let's bring everything to a close here, yeah?
What do you mean you won't have anything to do with us?
Well, I'm talking about getting a divorce. So, of course, I will no longer be caring for her anymore. That's why I won't do it again.
What? Are you being serious about getting a divorce? Why all of a sudden?
You think this is sudden? I've been thinking about it for quite a while now. I was just hoping that the two of you would change someday. That was the only thing keeping me from doing it earlier. But it's clear that neither of you will ever change.
Wait, just hold on a second. Why do we have to get a divorce?
Why shouldn't we? I should have divorced you when I was admitted into the hospital that time. What's the point of being with someone who never cares for you or helps you in situations like that?
Okay, I'll admit I was wrong back then. But that was then and this is now. Why does that have to lead to divorce? Who's going to take care of my mother if you go?
You do it yourself. We are going to be complete strangers very soon, and I don't plan on coming to the rescue of complete strangers.
Quit messing around. Do you think I'm going to forgive you the horrible things you just did to my mom? And now you're going to try and run away by getting a divorce? I won't allow it.
Well, if you put it that way, I guess it's fine. If you're really so against the divorce, I take back what I said.
Wait, really?
But in return, I'm going to continue to care for your mother as I did today. And if you don't like that, then I'll have nothing to do with her and you can look after yourself. Oh, and of course, I'm not going to be doing any housework at all from now either.
What are these conditions?
Conditions for me staying with a man like you.
Just wait a second here. What are you even talking about? Who would agree to anything like that?
Well, in that case, there's only divorce, I guess. I don't really care either way. Why don't you choose?
Neither one of them is a real choice.
But you do still have to choose one of them. So, which will it be? Whichever one you choose, it'll end badly for you. After that, Henry chose to get a divorce and we separated like that. Luckily, he had lost any fight he had within him to stop the divorce once I told him the conditions on which I would stay, and the divorce was fairly simple and quick. I don't have any interest in what the two of them are up to anymore, but of course some rumors always filter through mutual friends and the like. Since I was no longer around to look after Henry's mom, he had to take on all the work by himself. He always refused to help me do anything at all, but in the end, he had to go to work, do the housework, and care for his mother all on his own. Doing just the latter two was hard enough, so I can't imagine what kind of miserable life he is living right now with having to go to work as well. Even after I left, his mother's attitude didn't change, and their relationship began to worsen. They still live together, but are not getting along at all. On the other hand, I have finally been freed from that hellish household and am living my life comfortable and relaxed, all on my own. Up until now, I had to use all of my time for other people, but from now on, I'll use it to focus on myself.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
We're finally back home. But I don't see you here anywhere. Are you out doing something right now?
Oh yeah, sorry. I stepped out to go do some shopping, so I am going to be away for a while longer, actually.
Oh, okay, I see. Well, have fun, I guess. I'll see you at home.
Shoot, right. I also have dinner plans with my parents later. But yeah, sorry. I thought you were not going to be home until later. What happened?
Well, yeah, that was the original plan. But then my mom said she wanted to leave early, plus the weather turned, so we just decided to call it.
The weather turned? You mean it got worse? But it's been sunny all throughout the afternoon.
You mean you really didn't notice anything? Oh, well, I'm impressed. Yeah, there were some mudslides and really strong winds, too.
Oh, really? I had no idea. I've been inside this department store the whole time. I must have just not bothered to look outside.
Well, it looks like it might get worse again later today, so Mom and I agreed to end our day early and I just came home.
That all makes sense. I'm sorry your plans fell apart, though. Were the two of you at least able to go see the play that you had tickets for? I hope that it was fun.
Yeah, we did actually. It was really, really great. And then we even went to a pretty fancy sushi place for lunch.
Oh, that sounds really good. It's been a while since I had sushi. What place was it?
It was this place that just opened and my mom read about in a magazine. It was really, really good.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Well, you have to tell me about what they had and maybe we can go. And also, I just wanted to say that I think you're doing really great, Melinda.
What do you mean by that, David? I didn't even do anything.
I just mean about how you're so good about spending time with your parents. But also how you sent that sweet fruit basket to my parents too. You just know how to make everyone happy.
Well, I'm just trying to give back to the people who have already given so much to us already, you know? Not just my parents, but yours as well. And if they really enjoy what I do for them, then that makes me happy too.
Yeah, at this rate, I think my parents might end up liking you more than they do me. I just don't know how to please people like that.
Well, what if you did something like take them on a trip? I bet they would love to travel somewhere fun with you. I've heard that your parents have never really even traveled all that much before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I'll do something like that.
I think that would be great. You could all go on a family vacation and it would make your parents really happy.
Actually, the more I think about it, the worse of an idea it sounds. I mean, traveling with my parents. That is going to be so embarrassing.
Well, either way, it's still a really good present. And I'm sure you'd enjoy yourself on a fun trip. Isn't that the point of all this?
I guess, but I can't just tell my parents that I'm taking them on a trip all of a sudden. If anything, they're going to think that I've done something wrong and I'm trying to hide it.
You really think so? Well, even so, I'm sure that they'll be grateful for the present once they realize nothing else was happening.
I don't like it. Maybe a daughter could get away with that, but not a son like me. They wouldn't buy it.
I don't think that it has anything to do with that, though. And why do you think anyone would suspect you of anything? It's just a nice gesture for your parents.
I know, but planning a whole trip is such a pain. And for 3 people, too?
Well, sure, it isn't the funnest thing in the world, but you implied to me that you wanted an idea of something you could do for your parents.
I guess so. I don't know, though. I still have my doubts.
All I'm saying is that our parents are getting up there in age. Everyone may still be healthy, but we never know when something might happen. I just think that if you could go on this trip with your parents, that it might be a good memory to have with them for you as well.
Okay, I get it. Jeez. Just let me think about it, okay?
Hey, David, I just wanted to let you know that I was going to go to my parents' house for this afternoon. I don't think that I'm going to be home in time for dinner, though, so you're going to have to fend for yourself tonight. Sorry.
You're going to your parents' house tonight? What's going on? Did something happen?
Well, my dad is in the hospital.
He is? So something did happen. What is it? Did he get hurt? Is he sick?
I'm not sure. Apparently he just started feeling unwell last night and they had to rush him to the hospital. He's been there since last night. I thought he was so healthy. How did this happen?
So then, how is your dad doing? Is he okay?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. They said he would probably have to stay at the hospital for a few weeks.
Oh, whew, okay. Well, that's a relief. I was getting worried there for a second.
I mean, it isn't like he's in critical condition or anything, but it does seem like this might pose some more long-term health problems for him. I would really like it if you could be there to see him. It would make me feel so much better.
Well, I'm not sure if I'll be able to take the day off. I won't be able to go in until work is over.
Oh, I see. Well, I'm not sure if visiting hours will still be happening then. But if you have some time to, I would really appreciate it if you could visit him.
Of course. And I'm really sorry that you're going through all this right now.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. But I'm probably going to be going back and forth from my parents' place until my dad is released from the hospital. I kind of have to, since you know that my mom can't drive and the hospital is so far from where they live.
Wow, that sounds like a lot to deal with. But of course, I don't mind if you do that. Is your job going to be okay with that?
Well, I talked to my boss about the situation, and they said that they were okay with me leaving a little early each day. But I have to go to work even earlier instead.
Ah, I see. Well, it's a good thing that your office is so flexible with that.
Well, I'm only working part-time, so I'm sure it's not a big deal for the company. But since I'm going to be driving around so much, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do as much work around the house.
Well, that really can't be helped, can it? But the timing really couldn't be worse.
The timing? What do you mean? Do you have something going on?
Well, I was just about to go take my parents on their trip, so I was going to be leaving soon.
Wait, really? You mean you think you're going to take them somewhere?
Yeah, I was thinking of going somewhere abroad, but now that your dad is in the hospital, this might not work.
Especially if you're going to be all the way in another country.
I know, but this is the only time of the year that we could all go. Otherwise, they'll be too busy for the rest of the year and won't be able to go. This might be the only time my parents ever get to leave the country in their whole lives. But now that your dad's in the hospital, I guess that it would be really rude to go on the trip, huh?
Oh, I know, but it sounds like you really want to go on this trip with your parents. I'm really sorry all of this is happening.
Do you remember telling me that our parents aren't always going to be healthy and able to do stuff with us?
Of course I do. We just talked about that the other day, before this happened.
Well, those words really stuck with me, and now this has happened to your dad. I mean, everyone gets sick. No one knows what tomorrow is going to bring them. You just really can't take anything for granted, can you?
I guess you really can't, can you? You really never know what's going to happen.
I have no idea when something like this might happen to my own parents. I mean, your dad loved to mountain climb, and even he got sick. If anything happened like that to my parents, I doubt that they would ever be able to travel after that.
You might be right about that, actually. Maybe you should just go on the trip with your parents. I'm sad that I won't be able to go, but I hope that the three of you have fun.
Are you sure about this? I mean, I could also just give my parents their tickets and let them go without me.
You could do that, but like you said, it would be their first time abroad, and I'm sure that they would want you there. Oh, please, David, just take the trip with your parents. My dad's condition isn't that serious yet. I'm sure you could go and come back.
Thank you so much for this, Melinda. This really means a lot. I promise to bring back lots of souvenirs to everyone.
I really wish that I could go with you, but I hope that you have a good time with your parents. Make sure to make a bunch of good memories with them, and have enough fun for all of us back home here. David, my dad passed away.
Wait, no. How could that be? What happened? I thought you said he was doing okay.
He was, but then this morning his condition suddenly worsened. Mom and I rushed to get to the hospital, but it was already too late.
Melinda, I'm so sorry. This all has happened so quickly. I don't know what to say.
I'm just shocked. I feel so confused and torn up inside.
I understand, Melinda, but be strong for your mom. I'm sure she needs you right now.
She was a huge mess when we got to the hospital. It took me a while to calm her down. She's on the phone with the funeral home right now. I was gonna start calling relatives and letting them know.
I still just can't believe it. I mean, how did it happen this quickly? You said he was going to be out in just a few weeks.
I know, I thought so too, but the funeral is going to be in a couple days, apparently. Are you gonna be back by then?
I really don't think I will, actually. I mean, the flight back is already going to be over 10 hours, and that's assuming there are no delays or problems with the plan at all. Plus, I might not even be able to get the tickets to go back right now.
So, then you're not going to be able to be at the funeral?
I really don't think I can. I'm so sorry about this.
Well, it sounds like this really isn't your fault at all. I mean, you're abroad, and I shouldn't have expected you to be able to come home so soon.
Besides, if I tried to leave now, then I would be leaving my parents all alone, and I don't think that they would want that. It's just all so sudden, you know?
No, I really do understand. And thankfully, I think I can call on relatives to help me out. My brothers are already here to help arrange things with the funeral.
Oh, they're there too? Well, that's good. I'm glad you're not alone.
I'm just sorry about this. I bet that I've totally ruined your trip. I hope that you can still manage to have some fun.
You didn't do anything like that at all. And if anything, I should be the one who's sorry. I mean, I can't be there for you at this critical time in your life. Maybe I should have never taken this trip. Either way, I'll try and look into coming home early if I can.
I know, but I don't think we can really blame ourselves for this. I mean, who could have guessed that this would happen?
I know, but still, I'm just so sad that I couldn't be there to say goodbye to your dad. And then to not even make it to the funeral?
But it isn't your fault. I mean, just the other day, my dad seemed as healthy as he can be. Everyone thought that the doctor was right and that he would be out in a matter of weeks.
But then for this to go and happen? I guess you really just never know what life is going to throw your way next.
It really is true. So that's why you should make the most of this trip. We never know when we'll be able to do things like this again.
I suppose you're right, yeah. I know that if I didn't take my parents on this trip and something happened that would have prevented them from going, that I would regret that as long as I live. I really am happy that I've been able to be here and spend so much time with my parents. You were right about going on this trip. Hey Melinda, I'm just checking in to see how things are going for you. And I wanted to say again how sorry I am that I can't be at the funeral with you today.
Oh, that's okay. Thankfully, all is well and there was no incidents or drama. I had a lot of help from my relatives too, so I would say that everything went about as smoothly as it can for a funeral.
Please give them all my thanks for being there for you when I couldn't.
I'll make sure to let them know how grateful we both are to them, don't you worry.
Well anyways, I also wanted to let you know that I finally got a ticket back home, and I'm going to be taking the first flight back tomorrow morning. Then, once I get back, I can help with whatever you need from me. I wasn't there for you for all of this, but I want to be there for you now.
You finally managed to get a ticket back here? Well, that's okay, you don't have to come back early. Why don't you just keep enjoying your trip?
Wait, what? Melinda, please. I really am sorry that I can't be there for you right now, but you don't have to take that tone with me.
What? It's a text, there is no tone. But I'm not taking one with you, I really mean it. Do not bother coming home.
You mean like, at all? But why? I don't understand. Did something happen? Why does it seem like you're mad at me all of a sudden?
I'm not mad. I just wanted to let you know that once you get back from your little affair, that you won't even have a place to come home to.
My affair? What are you talking about, honey?
Oh, don't you honey me. Are you telling me that you aren't having an affair with that old classmate Vicky of yours? This must have been quite thrilling for you since the two of you were both married.
Wait, no. I really have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't do anything like that at all.
And here I thought you actually cared about spending time with your parents. How did I ever trust you?
But it really isn't a lie. I really have no idea what you're talking about.
Well then maybe I should ask your parents, since they were at the funeral as well.
Wait, they were?
That's right. Even your parents were kind enough to come to my dad's funeral, but not you.
But I don't understand. Why would they show up to something like that?
That's what I want to know. I was under the impression that they were busy traveling with you. But they told me that they knew nothing of any kind of trip anywhere.
But why would the two of them go to your dad's funeral? It doesn't make sense.
What are you talking about? Our parents stay in contact with each other. My mom told them what happened. Did you really forget how long our families have known each other? We grew up around the corner from one another. I think it's pretty natural that your parents would be told about my dad's passing and then show up to his funeral.
I don't believe it. I just don't even know what to say.
Well, you better think of something a little better than that for your sake. Now, start explaining.
And how'd you find out about Vicky?
Well, I was using your tablet while you were away, and you happened to leave your reservations open on the browser there. And that was when I saw only two names. You and Vicky.
So then that's it. You saw it all then.
That's right. Now let's stop with all the lies. I've already told Vicky's parents about what she was doing with you.
You did what? But how did you even get in contact with them?
Well, since we all went to school together, there were some mutual friends of ours at the funeral. I asked them if they knew how to get in contact with her parents, and then I told them. But I had no idea that she was married. That's gonna create quite a mess. I heard that they told her husband right away, and he called Vicky. Have you not heard anything about that at all? Her husband and parents know all about you.
Well, what about my parents? What do they know?
Everything. And they're just as mad as Vicky's parents. You should have seen how disappointed they were about this. I told them all about the trip I suggested you go on, and how you used that as a lie to try and trick me. Ugh, you're so pathetic. Do you even realize that?
No, please, you don't understand. This has to be some kind of mistake. I mean, I never thought I would get found out like this.
If you didn't want to get caught, it's because you knew that you were doing something wrong. Honestly, you're just the worst. So, anyways, again, don't bother coming home. In fact, you might not even want to, the way the rumors about you are spreading.
And just what is that supposed to mean? Who all knows about this?
I would say everyone that matters. Our family, relatives, and then whoever else they talk to.
Oh no. This is really, really bad.
You think you have it bad? What about me? My dad just died, and then I have to find out that you're cheating on me days before the funeral? You lied to me. But even after taking the shock of your affair, I still had to go through this funeral on my own.
I'm so sorry. I really did want to go home early, but it just wasn't a viable option. I'm sorry that this happened.
I don't believe a word you say anymore. I looked into flight delays around where you were staying, and there was nothing. There was no reason you shouldn't have been able to buy a ticket sooner.
You mean you went so far as to try and look in on what I was doing?
That's right. I was just so worried about why you couldn't come home that I looked it up myself. Did you really not want to come to this funeral so badly?
No, it isn't like that at all. It was just that the day of the funeral overlapped with reservations at this really famous restaurant, and I really didn't want to lose those plans.
So you thought it was more important to have a fancy dinner than be there for my dad? I don't even know what to say to that. But anyways, I have my half of the divorce papers signed and waiting for you whenever you come back.
You can't mean that you really want to get a divorce, right? Can't we just talk about this?
There's nothing left to talk about. Enjoy the rest of your trip. I hope you're ready for everything waiting for you back here.
Please, I'm so sorry for lying to you. You have to believe that I really do want to take my parents on a trip, and I really am going to break things off with Vicky. Please, I never meant to cheat on you.
You might as well save your effort and can it with the begging. I don't want to hear one word of it.
I'm telling the truth, though. I'm sorry for everything. I had no idea that your dad was going to die. If that didn't happen, none of this would have happened.
Do not disrespect my dad by blaming his death on what was really your stupidity. And accept that we are getting divorced.
Wait, hold on, please. You have to forgive me. I don't want to divorce.
And how do I know that that wasn't a lie either?
It really isn't. I'm telling the truth. Please, trust me.
Even yesterday, I wasn't thinking of divorce. But now that I've had more time, it's the only thing that I can think of. But it's like you said. I guess you never really can guess what life throws at you. After that, David flew back home as soon as he could and was greeted with a stern talking to by his parents. Well, it was more like a grilling than anything. Vicky was also treated to her berating when she returned home. I followed through with my promise of divorcing David and sued him and Vicky for their affair. Given that we live in such a small town, though, it wasn't long before just about everyone knew what those two had done. They couldn't stand the social pressure anymore and one day just left town. I have no idea where they are or if they're even together now.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Alice, are you there? I need to talk to you about your father's funeral next month. Will you be there?
Hey, Gertrude. Yeah, of course I will. A bunch of our relatives will be there too, right? I haven't even met some of the people on my dad's side. Seems like it's gonna get busy. He sure was loved. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with. You know, organization, planning, invites, that kind of thing.
Anything you can help me with? Sorry, Alice, but I don't think there's anything someone in your predicament could help me with. Don't worry about me. I'm happy for you to just sit around and do nothing. You're hardly the most mobile person in the world with that unfortunate leg of yours, are you, dear?
No, it's not that bad, really. I know it might look like I struggle a lot, but other than running, I can still do pretty much anything.
Oh dear, what a shame. It seems as though trying to soften the blow by giving you a gentle hint wasn't a good idea, so I'll just say it. I don't need our relatives thinking I'm so incapable I need to enlist the help of a cripple, thank you very much. If you do insist on coming, make sure you sit quietly and don't get in my way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gertrude. I understand.
The fact that my son married a cripple in the first place is embarrassing enough, without me being seen to be reliant on you to carry out basic tasks. What in heavens was he thinking? Telling people you exist is uncomfortable enough. I hardly feel like parading you around in front of everyone. I hope you don't think I've acknowledged you as my daughter, because most certainly I haven't. My Sam was adamant he only had eyes for you, and that your disability made no difference to him. That boy's so damn stubborn I knew resilience was futile, which is why I begrudgingly accepted it.
Right, I see.
I was looking forward to having a cute daughter-in-law to take out to cafes and on shopping trips with me. I had such high hopes. What an astronomical disappointment you turned out to be. I would have never believed in a million years he'd choose to spend the rest of his life with damaged goods like you. He must be atoning for some seriously evil deeds in a past life. That's the only explanation that makes sense to me.
Gertrude, please. Why do you have to speak to me like this? Sam's the kindest man I've ever met. Besides, it's not like we fell for each other because of our looks in the first place. I fell in love with your son because of who he is deep down, just like he did with me. Just because one of my legs doesn't work makes no difference to him.
I don't need you to tell me how kind Sam is. I'm his mother, for heaven's sake. Let's face it, he'd have to be a saint to choose a useless good-for-nothing like you.
Gertrude, I love your son, and I'll do whatever it takes to win your approval. I want you to know that I'd do anything for him, and to rest assured that he's in good hands with me.
What good could a malformed cripple who's so totally reliant on others she can barely tie her own shoelaces possibly do for my son? I do wish you wouldn't talk such nonsense, dear. I can't claim to have any idea what you're like getting around the house, but I've seen you many a time using crutches and a wheelchair outside.
Right. So, what?
So you have the mobility of a 97-year-old, and you have the gall to claim I should rest assured that my son can rely on you? What would you do if he couldn't work for some reason? What would you do if he lost his job?
I'd help out with the family finances for as long as he needed me to. Of course I would. I freelance from home, so my lack of mobility doesn't mean I don't bring in any money. And even while I may technically be disabled, beyond the occasional very minor inconvenience, it doesn't cause me any problems in day-to-day life.
It's precisely because I find that so hard to believe that I'm worried, my dear. But I suppose worrying won't get me anywhere. We have to face the facts. Worrying won't make your legs work again.
I'm sorry.
Did I ask you to apologize? No, I did not. Ah, yes, that reminds me. There was a favor I wanted to ask of you.
Oh, really? What is it? I'd love to help out.
I wanted you to get rid of all of the weeds in my yard before your father's funeral.
Got it, no problem. I'm pretty sure I recall you having an electric mower, right? I'll have it done in a jiffy with that.
Unacceptable! Do you know how weeds work, my dear? Let me tell you about weeds. Much like how you've got your claws buried in my son's heart, weeds take root deep within the soil. I want you to pull every last one of them up, roots and all. The electric mower simply isn't going to cut it. You have to do it by hand. Oh, wait a second. Will that be difficult for you, with being a cripple and all?
No, don't worry, it's fine. I'll have it done before we leave for the funeral, I promise.
I expect great things, Alice. This should be interesting. You might actually be of some use to me for the first time in your life. Alice, you've really gone and done it this time, you silly girl.
Hi, Gertrude. Did I do something wrong?
At the funeral, you told all of your relatives you cleared out all of the weeds in my yard, didn't you?
Well, yeah, kind of. But it's not like I was especially eager to talk about weeds or anything. It's just that everyone was discussing gardening, so I mentioned what I did in your garden this afternoon. After I got clearing out the weeds, you asked me to plant some flowers in the freshly invader-free soil, did you not? One of my relatives was really curious, and she asked me all kinds of things about how to plant and care for the flowers.
That may be so, but why did you have to be so idiotically honest? Some things are better left unsaid.
Huh? What do you mean?
Are you trying to make our families think I'm the kind of person who forces her disabled daughter-in-law to clear out the weeds in her garden? You're so thoughtless and insensitive. Ugh, how could you do this to me, you little ingrate? I'm your mother-in-law, did you forget that? Would it hurt you so much to say some nice things about me once in a blue moon, or to try and uplift me instead of destroying my reputation?
Oh, look, Gertrude, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was doing anything to upset you. It wasn't intentional. I doubt anyone even remembers what I said about the weeds, and besides, even if they did, why would they think you forced me? It was the flowers they were interested in. I honestly don't think you have anything to worry about.
You don't know that for sure. I do wish you'd think before speaking every now and then, dear.
Right. You're right. I'm sorry.
If you mean it when you say you want to win my approval, making me happy should be your #1 priority. In spite of that, all you seem to do is upset me. Do you enjoy making me suffer?
No, of course not. I told you I didn't mean to. I'm sorry.
In that case, you better make damn sure that whenever you talk about me in front of others from now on, it's nothing but praise. Praise and more praise. I want everyone to know how fantastic I am. If anyone asks, the only reason you cleared out the weeds and planted those flowers was because you wanted to help me so badly that you volunteered of your own accord. Are we clear?
We're clear.
Good grief. It looks like your leg isn't the only thing that doesn't work. The fact that I have to explain things that should be as plain as day in minute detail makes it abundantly clear that your brain isn't operating at full capacity either. Are all cripples like this?
Gertrude, please. I'd really appreciate it if you would stop calling me that. And I'd like it if you stopped thinking of me as nothing more than my disability. Other than one of my legs not working, I'm no different to you or anyone else.
Oh, now I've heard it all. A bottom-dwelling leech who's only able to exist thanks to my hard-earned tax dollars thinks she's the same as me?
Please stop being so horrible. Do you think I chose to be this way? Do you think I enjoy it?
It makes me sick the way you cripples roll around in your wheelchairs while you suck up the tax dollars of hard-working Americans like me without a care in the world. You assert so boldly how you're no different to me and other normal folk that I believe you might actually be delusional enough to believe it. But the truth is, without sponging off the tax money of decent, respectable people like us, defective articles like you wouldn't have a leg to stand on, would you? Pardon the pun. I know you can't help the way you are, but you could at least try being a little more damn humble.
I'm not gonna deny it. Maybe there are some disabled people who behave arrogantly and act like the world owes them something. but most of us are incredibly grateful for any help we get.
Are you really? I wonder. Consider the following. You, damaged goods in the real sense of the term, managed to bag yourself a high-spec guy like my son. You're privileged enough to be enjoying a happy, fulfilling life of the kind that in a just world would only be possible for normal people. That seems pretty damn arrogant from where I'm standing.
Disabled folk have the right to be happy too.
Throw away these despicable ideas of yours at once. You may have been married for a year now, but I bet not a day's gone by where my son hasn't regretted choosing you to be his wife. How about you hurry up and accept how miserable you make the people around you and do my son the enormous favor of divorcing him and getting out of his life once and for all?
Wait, are you telling me to leave Sam?
Believe me, dear, that's all I've ever wanted. How could I want anything else? You're nothing but useless, damaged goods, and you serve no purpose in any of our lives. What's the point in keeping you around? You bring nothing to the table. Alice, my leg is itchy. Bring me a back scratcher at once.
I can't come and see you again today, Gertrude. I have some important business to attend to now.
Important business? More important than me? Impossible! You come back to the hospital right now.
Are you being serious right now? I was literally just there. I'm sorry, I can't. I have an appointment to make. I really gotta go.
Don't you feel sorry for me? I can't even walk. I'm disabled just like you now. You'd think you of all people would understand how I feel.
Sure, I understand how difficult not being able to walk can be, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna drop what I'm doing to cater to your every whim and desire at the drop of a hat.
Ah, I see. That's it, isn't it? You were born disabled. You could never understand how it feels to be an able-bodied person who suddenly loses use of their legs in a horrible accident. Not only that, but you'd think it was enough that I'm now unable to walk and forced to live in a wheelchair. But no, I just had a lawyer show up. Do you know what he wanted? He demanded I pay the full amount to cover the repair fees for the damage done to the house.
I hardly see how that's a surprise after what you did. You drove your car into someone's freaking house. I suggest you talk to your insurance company about that. I'm not familiar with this kind of thing, but there's a chance they might be able to cover it. I'm certainly not going to be any use to you on this one.
I have no idea what to do. I don't know anything about legal proceedings, and besides, this is all backwards. The owner should be paying for the damages her house caused to me. Just because I mistook the accelerator for the brake pedal in a moment of confusion doesn't mean I should be punished financially. I've already suffered enough.
Surely you should just be thankful that poor old lady wasn't home when you planted your car in her living room. She could have been killed. And look, I know this isn't easy, but there is still a chance that with lots of hard work, rehabilitation, and some positive thinking, you could walk again one day.
Maybe so, but there's no telling how long that could take. I was supposed to be going on a girls' holiday with my friends next month. There's no way I'll be going now. What did I ever do to deserve this? Life is cruel.
I know this is horrible, Gertrude, but you can't give up. What else can you do but try your best? I know this is gonna sound heartless, but there's no avoiding the fact that you're the one who caused this accident. Besides, you're not the only one involved here. You destroyed some poor lady's house with your careless driving. I think you should show a little remorse.
Like I told you, all I did was make one teeny tiny mistake. Since when did you become the world's highest moral authority? Get off your damn high horse.
You don't seem to have any idea how much worse this could have been if that lady had happened to be home when you plowed through her house.
You shut your goddamn mouth! I can't live like this. I've had enough already. I want to go home. Hospital food is so disgusting it makes me want to vomit, and I even decide when I go to bed. I can't take it anymore. This is not where I'm supposed to be.
You're getting discharged next month, right?
That's right. But that's too long. I don't know if I can hold out until then. It's not like being all cooped up in here is going to make me any more likely to walk again. I'm just suffering needlessly.
Gertrude, please. They're doing important tests on you every day, and they're giving you rehab sessions for crying out loud. It might not be nice, but it's a necessary step in your recovery, and also for getting out of there. Please do your best. We believe in you.
Oh, that reminds me. I wanted to talk to you about what happens after I get discharged from this godforsaken hellhole. I've decided I'm going to live with you and Sam.
Huh?
Don't act so surprised. I live in a wheelchair now, you know. How am I supposed to get by without anyone to look after me?
There are tons of people in wheelchairs who live alone. Sure, things will undoubtedly be difficult at first, and we'll be around to help you while you get used to everything.
Wait a second. You're not trying to tell me I can't live with you, are you? I know you wouldn't do that.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm sorry, but you can't live with us. It's impossible.
Why not? I'm Sam's mother. We're family.
I know that, but Sam has no intention of letting you move in with us either.
You're lying. There's no way my lovely, kind, caring Sam would let his own mother down in her hour of need. He's not like you.
Oh, Gertrude, I'm really sorry to have to bring this up at a time like this. But you've been horrible to me ever since we met.
Me? Horrible to you? What in heaven's name are you talking about, young lady? I have no recollection of doing any such thing.
You make fun of me for being disabled? You do nothing but insult, demean, and belittle me at every opportunity. You probably treat your garbage better than you do me.
All I've ever done is tell the truth.
Whether you think something is true or not gives you no right to abuse me. I did my best to build some kind of positive relationship with you because you're Sam's mom and I wanted us all to get along. I wanted to win your approval so badly that I held my tongue and tolerated everything you said to me in the hopes that one day you'd finally give me a chance. But Sam told me I shouldn't keep putting up with it. And you know what? He's right.
Fascinating. Just fascinating. What a riveting story. Not. What's your goddamn point, noodle leg? None of this has anything to do with me. I will be moving in with you. I won't be able to get by otherwise.
Please start looking into disability-friendly accommodation, or if you're so tired of living alone, care homes. Because you are absolutely not moving in with us, and that's final. You don't have to take my word for it. Sam says he's gonna message you soon, so be my guest and wait to hear it from him if you like. The sooner you understand and accept this, the better.
No way! Sam would do anything to help me, no matter what. I'm his mother and he loves me. I won't lose to an arrogant, wet behind the ears little ingrate like you.
Gertrude, this isn't about winning or losing.
I'm moving in with you. We're not negotiating here. This has already been decided. Your opinion is irrelevant and I never asked for it. I can't believe that you of all people would treat me so cruelly and heartlessly despite having been disabled your whole life. You should understand what I'm going through more than anyone. What's wrong? Are you scared you won't get my son's full, undivided attention anymore? That's it, isn't it? You're jealous.
Give me a break, not even a little.
Then how about you keep your mouth shut and start listening to my son? I know he wants me to live with you, and I won't hear another word on the matter from the likes of you. Stop interfering where you're neither needed nor welcome, you little witch. You've got some explaining to do, Alice. You haven't been to see me in the hospital for an entire week. What in heaven's name is going on?
Just like I told you before, I won't be helping you with anything anymore.
Oh, I get it. You're trying to avoid the issue of me living with you and my son, aren't you? I can read you like a book.
Wow, are you seriously still talking about that? You just don't know when to give up. You were obviously never gonna listen to me. But Sam's explained over a dozen times by now that there's no way you can live with us. What's it gonna take for you to understand?
Irrelevant. I'm his mother, and my word is law.
I see. But you living with us is literally impossible.
Where there's a will, there's a way. You can say whatever you like, but it changes nothing. I will absolutely, 100%, indubitably, definitely, surely, certainly, unequivocally be moving in with you. I've already hired a moving company to have my things dropped off at your house. The wheels are in motion and there are no brakes on this train. As things stand, the plan is to arrive there sometime during the beginning of next month. You should be grateful. This is an opportunity to be of some use to someone. Maybe if you're lucky, the day will finally come where I no longer think of you as useless, damaged goods. Didn't you always used to go on about how desperate you were to win my approval? Well, this is your chance to prove you've got what it takes.
You're already making preparations to move in with us? Wait a sec. You mean you're moving abroad with us?
Huh? Abroad?
Yep. Me and Sam moved to the UK last week. That's why we can't visit you in the hospital anymore.
Wait a sec. What? The UK? This is the first I've heard of it.
Right? That's because we didn't tell you.
Why did you move to the UK? This makes no sense. Hold on a second. Is this something to do with Sam's work?
Bingo! So we're gonna be away from the States for a little while. Damn, I can't imagine how awkward it's gonna be when the moving company guys arrive with all your stuff at the house that we no longer live in. How many times did I tell you moving in with us was impossible? I wasn't exaggerating or making excuses. I mean, it's literally, physically impossible.
Maybe so, but you didn't tell me why, did you? This could have all been avoided if you just let me know. Ugh! Come home this instant!
We didn't tell you because we didn't want you bugging us or getting in our way while we were getting ready to move abroad. Besides, we thought it best to keep it quiet on the off chance that you were actually crazy enough to invite yourself.
Where does this leave me? What am I supposed to do now? Where am I supposed to go when I get discharged from the hospital?
Not my problem. Figure it out yourself. Oh, that reminds me. We did leave a bunch of leaflets containing information on local care facilities and specialized apartments for disabled folks on your living room table. There are some with info on live-in carers, too. Take a look at those and plan your life yourself.
Are you abandoning me? How could you do this? I'm in a goddamn wheelchair! This is an unacceptable way to treat your mother-in-law.
I don't want to understate how horrible and unfortunate your accident was, and I feel for you, Gertrude, I really do. But me or Sam have no intention of looking after someone as incredibly selfish and egotistic as you. You're the one who caused the accident. In spite of that, you still haven't apologized to the poor old lady whose house you destroyed, have you?
She has more than enough of my money to care about a poxy apology. I've already lost my life savings because of the compensation I was forced to pay for her repairs. Her house can be fixed. My legs, on the other hand, cannot. Do you really think I have the time to be thinking of others in the situation I'm in?
It's not that I don't understand how you feel, but I want you to think for a moment. I want you to remember something you said to me a little while ago. What was it again? You could at least try being a little more damn humble. So how about it, Gertrude? Have you not got what it takes to show some humility? That's super important for cripples like you and me, after all, right?
This isn't fair. I was a normal person when I said that. I mean, no, wait. I'm still a normal person. I'm not a cripple. I'm not. They said there's a chance I might walk again if I work hard at rehab.
Great. That means you can stop trying to rely on others and live by yourself then. You are normal after all, aren't you? Shouldn't be an issue, right?
I am, but things are different now. Or at least for the time being. Have you no heart? Don't you feel in the slightest bit sorry for me? Your poor aged mother-in-law has to live in a wheelchair for heaven's sake. You have no idea how crushingly lonely it can be to live on your own at the best of times, let alone in this state. Have some sympathy.
If you've got enough fight left in you to be pestering me like this, I'm sure you'll be just fine. You know what astonishes me the most? That you actually think I'd help you after the way you abused and made fun of me for being disabled all this time. Surely you're joking. You have to be. No human being is this ridiculous.
But I thought you wanted my approval.
I thought I made this clear already, but any desire for your approval I may have had back then has completely disappeared. I'm blessed enough to have a kind, caring, loving husband who accepts me unconditionally for who I am, and that's all that matters. What more could I possibly want?
Alice, listen to me. I'll accept you as my daughter-in-law and my son's wife if you let me move in with you. This is what you've been waiting for all this time, isn't it? I may have been a little inconsiderate towards you at times in the past, but I get it now. After losing use of my legs in the accident, I finally understand how you feel. I'll never do anything like that again. Won't you at least think about it? Pretty please?
I will not.
We could find a place with wheelchair accessibility in the UK, you know. I know the rest of the world isn't as advanced as America, but they should at least have ramps. You wouldn't happen to know anything about why I haven't been able to get through to Sam for the last few days, would you? Would you be a darling and pass on a message for me? I need you to ask him to consider flying me over to the UK to live with you both.
I won't be doing that.
But Alice, I'm begging you. I'm in a wheelchair and I'm begging you. What's the harm in passing on a message? Why won't you just hear me out here?
You haven't heard me out even once ever since we met. Why should I suddenly be interested in anything you have to say?
Alice, I'm so sorry. I've been a fool. I'm so sorry for the way I've treated you. My behavior was unacceptable. I feel horrible, dear. But I really am begging you here. I'm begging you with every last fiber of my being. Please, please don't abandon your mother-in-law like this.
Sam already made this clear, but apparently it didn't go in, so I'll tell you again. You're not the only human being on this planet, and you need to start living with some consideration for others for a change. The world owes you no favors, and you can't always get your own way. That's life, and the sooner you accept it, the better.
I'm not saying I want my own way all the time. Besides, I obviously don't get it, do I? If I did, I wouldn't be alone and miserable in this wheelchair. This isn't my fault.
There's no reason for me to speak to you as long as you're living in denial of what you've done. Have a nice life.
Alice, wait. I'm begging you. Please just pass the message on to Sam. That's all I ask. You can hate me, you can curse me, you can think what you want of me, but please, please pass on the message. I'm sorry. I'm remorseful for the way I treated you. I'm sorry I ignored the way you felt for so long, and I'm sorry I ignored everything you and Sam said to me.
There's nothing I can do for you.
Surely that's not true. Sam thinks the world of you. Surely one word from you is all it would take for him to reconsider how he feels about me. If you forgive me, he will too. I just know it.
But I'm a defective article. Good for nothing, remember? Even if I wanted to, I could never be of use to anyone. Your words, not mine. All I'm doing right now is what your son asked me to, which is why there's nothing I can do for you. You're on your own. Have a nice life. Bye. After that, I was barraged with a torrent of panicked messages from my desperate mother-in-law. Naturally, I blocked her, and now, with her gone, my life is stress-free. I said all I had to say at the end there, so I have no regrets. A major toxic influence has been removed from our lives, and we're not looking back. That said, she decided to move into an apartment complex equipped with specialized facilities for disabled people, for which she needed the signature of a close relative to act as her guarantor. We enlisted the help of Sam's uncle to act as a go-between to avoid the unpleasantries of corresponding directly with her, and so the procedures to dispose of her once and for all are currently underway. I can't help but feel a little guilty for dragging Sam's uncle into Gertrude's mess, but it couldn't be helped. To my surprise, he readily accepted. He said he'd long had his suspicions she might be mistreating me because he knew exactly what she was like from his own experiences with her growing up. Eventually, her application for the wheelchair-friendly apartment was approved. She's currently living there alone. Everyone who knows her thinks she got exactly what she deserved after finding out the way she'd been treating me, which sadly for her means that she never gets a single visitor. After being paralyzed from the waist down, my mother-in-law, who used to be super active, having formerly been an avid mountain climber, is now confined to a tiny apartment and leads a wretched existence of soul-crushing loneliness. I heard from a friend of a friend who happened to see her out shopping that she looked like she'd lost all her spirit and vigor, a depressed, broken husk of a human being. What life brings next is entirely down to her. In any case, it's not our problem. She's not in our lives anymore, and she never will be again. She's nothing more than a distant memory now. Me and my husband are looking towards our own future together and intend on building the best life possible for ourselves in the UK. I have nothing but gratitude towards my amazing husband and our wonderful relatives, who have all been super supportive over the whole Gertrude incident. As for me, I'm going to carry on working as hard as I possibly can to ensure that mine and Sam's happy lives together continues long into the future.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.